Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome along to the coverage of the Brazilian Grand Prix. We have had an absolutely fantastic qualifying session a couple of hours ago. There were 5 crashes over the course of that qualifying session, and from those 5 crashes, we have had 2 drivers that have opted. Well, one driver that has opted to start from the pit lane. That is Carlos Sainz. Alex Albon will not be taking part in this race, unfortunately, after the car had far too much damage. And I think Williams, they decided that they only had so much. They had a limited amount of time, and the mechanics' time would be better spent repairing Colapinto's car rather than trying to repair both cars and then not repairing either of them in time. So quite early on, they inspected the damage of Alex Albon's car, realized that, oh no, there is far too much damage to get this repaired in a space of 3 hours, and because of that, they essentially said, Albon, we're not going to fix your car, and then they went and repaired Colapinto's car. So everyone, apart from Albon, will be taking part in this race. Sainz, with a new power unit and a new gearbox, will be starting from the pit lane, and the standing order is the order that you see up on screen. There were a couple of, not rumours, but like some people thought that Hamilton would be starting from the pit lane. Quite a few people did actually think that. Some people thought that Verstappen was going to take more power unit penalties because since he's starting in 17th, even if he takes an entirely new power unit, he can just start in 19th position. It's not going to be that big of a difference. But no, that drivers have not done that. Verstappen will start in 17th with only a new internal combustion engine, not an entirely new power unit. Hamilton is not modifying his setup after a very bad sprint weekend so far. He's going to keep the same setup and going to continue on and see if he can score some points. Is it raining? Yes, it is. It stopped raining for a little bit in between qualifying and the race. However, the rain is back, and the teams have a sort of a little tent to put on top of their cars, and the FIA have said you're allowed to use those tents just because you don't want the cars to get wet. All right. So that is the situation for now. We, of course, have Lando Norris starting in first place, George Russell starting in second, Tsunoda in third, Esteban Ocon in fourth, Lawson in fifth, Leclerc in sixth. That is going to be fantastic. Just to clarify, folks, Piastri will not technically move up into seventh position. He will still start in the 8th position grid slot. The 7th position grid slot will remain empty because Albon is not taking part. No one else gets promoted. The grid slot for Albon just remains empty and everyone parks up in their normal grid positions. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. It hugely helps out the channel. We've just gone over 500 likes now. If you could hit 5,000 by the end of this stream, that would be mind-blowing. F1 Gamer, could you run me through qualifying because I missed it? Well, I mean, I could. However, that would take so long. So I'm just going to do a very quick summary. We had Q1. In Q1, Colapinto crashed, and there was a red flag. It was very close that the Mercedes would get eliminated, but they managed to get through. Then in Q2, we had Carlos Sainz crash first. He brought out a red flag, and then Carlos Sainz crashed, brought out the red flag. But then they went qualifying again, and it was all fine until Stroll crashed. And under that point, they brought out the red flags when Verstappen and Perez were still in the drop zone. They were still in the elimination zone in 12th and 13th. And in 12th and 13th were Verstappen and Perez. And then the red flags came out. The drivers got eliminated. And there was only 40 seconds left on the clock, so they couldn't do another lap, and the session wouldn't be restarted. Then we went into Q3, and we had it was Alonso crash in Q3, and then we had Albon crash, or the other way around. I forgot which way, but either way, there were both of those drivers crashed in Q3. We had a sensational lap from Yuki Tsunoda, and both Norris and Russell put together fantastic laps right at the end to get the 1-2 for British drivers. Yeah. All right. What are your predictions? My predictions, honestly, I'm predicting quite a few DNFs. I'm predicting a safety car, maybe a red flag. I have no predictions on who's going to win this race because even in Singapore, when Norris had a 30-second lead of this race of the race that he was in, he got perilously close to DNFing twice. He outbraked himself and nearly hit the barrier on one corner, and then on the another corner he got very close to clipping the wall on the entry. So, if he's doing that when he's got 30 seconds of a gap behind him, it's very possible that in today's race, a tiny little mistake here and there, a tiny loss of focus, and he's straight off into the barriers. We know that the same could happen with George Russell. George Russell did it in Singapore the previous year. And I don't know. It's very much going to be a race of attrition. To win the race, to finish first you have to finish. And because of that, the aim for all of the drivers will be to start to finish the race. And once you finish the race, then, as long as you finish high enough, that should be all right. But, objective number 1, survive. Objective number 2, finish as high as possible. Do you think the FIA did a good or bad job with the red flags in quali? Well, see, this is the thing. There's quite a lot of things that have to go through for the race directors to call out a red flag. It's not a marshal that stood on the side of the track that sees a big crash and immediately presses a button and the red flag is out. He has to communicate to the race the race director. However, the marshals typically in Brazil speak Portuguese. The race director probably speaks English, so they have to get a translator involved. They translate whatever the marshal's saying, and then the race director has a look. They look at the team radio, they look at the telemetry, and then after they do all of that, then they decide to bring out the red flag. So there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. It's not as simple as, someone's just watching the TV feed, they've got the onboard, they see a crash, they press the red flag button. Ideally, I think something like that should be involved. Like, I don't think there's a requirement to see telemetry and team radios and then get communication from the marshals. If the race director himself or herself can see that there's been a crash and it's a pretty big impact into the barriers, then immediately they should bring out a red flag. But we shall wait and see. The Dream Dynasty, thank you for the donation. Manifesting a podium for the Yuki and Liam. Yeah, well, this is the thing. The Racing Bulls are starting in 3rd and 5th position. The Red Bulls are starting in 12th and 17th. It is a very, very big... it's how are the turntables, really. The tables have really turned, and that is what's happened. Yeah, and we'll see how it works out for them. Maybe there's a little maybe there's Christian Horner in a Darth Vader outfit saying, Yuki, if you crash into Norris, you will get a drive at Red Bull next year. All you've got to do is lock your brakes into turn number 1, tap Norris, and you have confirmed got a drive. I'm sure there'll be if Yuki does do that, I'm sure there'll be many conspiracy theories and about what happens. But no, I think we're gonna have a clean race. However, that might be something that some people are thinking about. All right. Oh wow, we've got 4,000 people tuning into live stream already. That is fantastic, folks. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. This is going to be one of the special Grand Prix. As I said in qualifying by accident, this one's going in the memory books. I meant to say history books, but yeah. All right, all the cars repaired. All of the cars apart from Alex Albon's car are repaired. The pit lane exit is closed. All 18 drivers are currently up there on the grid. Alex Albon's car is in the garage. That will be repaired in time for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And Carlos Sainz will be starting from the pit lane after taking a new power unit and a new gearbox as well. So a pretty significant crash there for Sainz. And if he was going to start near the back, he might as well just go straight, get a new power unit, and yeah, take advantage of the fact that he's not actually going to lose out that much by starting this far back. Well, yeah, take advantage because he might as well take the new engine at that point. How is the weather? The weather is raining. That's the weather. The weather forecast predicts more rain. As of right now, the rain is very, very light, if at all. It is raining. However, yes, it is. There is more forecast for rain, and yeah. All right. So yeah, let me know what your predictions are. Do you think we're gonna? How many red flags do you think we're gonna have? How many safety cars do you think we're gonna have? Are we? How many drivers are gonna finish this race actually? Because considering in 1 hour of qualifying we had 5 red flags, and that 1 hour of qualifying got delayed out to like 1 hour 45 minutes of qualifying. In a 71 lap race, how many red flags are we gonna have? How many safety cars are we gonna have? How many drivers are gonna end up crashing? I think 2019 Germany was a very similar race to this. It was half wet, half intermediates, well, and then half half dry. Obviously, that doesn't add up. It was very wet at the start, but then it quickly turned into intermediates. And I'm just going to see how many drivers DNF'd in Germany 2019. And maybe we'll have something similar today. So if we have a look at the DNFs, yes, drivers 14 through to 20, so 7 drivers DNF'd in 2019. In the 2019 German Grand Prix, and I have a feeling we're going to have something very similar to that. We've already had one DNF. We've not even had DNF whoever did not start, and that'll be Alex Albon. Are we starting in Inter's territory? Certainly, we certainly are. It is not the full wets. That not too much rain has fallen since the end of quali, but it is definitely not dry. So we'll be in Inter's territory for quite a while. It'll be similar to sort of Istanbul 2020 when the circuit is wet and it will be drying, but you would probably be best off to just stick it out on the inters for quite a while and then really right at the end maybe switch onto the softs, but you could probably just get away with the intermediates. It all depends on the temperature and the cloud cover and if the sun comes out and things like that. We saw in Canada this year, the sun came out immediately after some rain, and within 10-15 minutes the circuit was totally dry. But in Sao Paulo and Interlagos over here, it looks a lot more cloudy, and because of the extra cloud cover, I have a feeling that it'll take a lot longer for the circuit to dry up because the sun will not be shining on it. So let's wait and see what compounds are available. Wet intermediates, and then you have the C5, the C4, and the C3, the softest of the Pirelli tire range. Yeah. Why no Albon Colapinto swap? They haven't swapped Albon and Colapinto mainly because they believe in Colapinto, whereas in Sargent they clearly didn't believe in him. They knew that Albon would be able to extract more performance out of the car, so they gave the car to Albon. But yeah, in this case they believe that Colapinto will be able to do well, so that's why they have. That's why they're letting Colapinto drive. I think it makes sense though. I don't know if it would. Yeah, I didn't think that they should swap Colapinto around. He's only driven for 3 or 4 races. It'll be great to have him to get some experience in wet conditions as well, because it'll be a long. It's very, very valuable for rookies. You know, Lawson's done a fantastic job, 5th place in his first ever wet qualifying session, and he's done it in a Racing Bull as well. Like, absolutely astonishing from Liam Lawson. Yeah, fantastic. Someone's getting binned lap 1. Well, I'm going to let you guys know. Drivers binned it before lap number 1 here. We saw on the laps to the grid, so the drivers came out of the garages, did 1 or 2 laps, and then went over to the starting grid. We saw Nico Hulkenberg go very wide into turn number 4, lock the brakes and go straight on. We saw Oliver Behrman get a big old snap of oversteer as he exited turn number 12. I didn't see all of the other replays, but I suspect there will have been a lot more drivers that did make similar mistakes because, the circuit is very unfamiliar and the track conditions change very, very rapidly. All right. Favorite track? Well, honestly, after this qualifying session, my favorite track may have switched from Suzuka to the Brazilian Grand Prix. I don't know. What do you predict for Gasly, as he was fast in the sprint, so he might have some pace? Yeah, this was the Alpine's first top 8 finish of the entire season, that they finished in the sprint. So Gasly finished in 7th place, and it's the highest that they've finished all season long. And it looks like the Alpines have got pace. Ocon's done well and in 4th position. So I think Gasly might find it difficult because everyone else ahead of him also has pace. But Ocon, since he's starting at the top, all he's got to do is hold position, and he might be able to do that. So yeah, it's looking good for Esteban Ocon. All right. If we have another look into the constructors' standings, once again, I would like to point out that Lando Norris is 44 points behind Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Championship. So in an ideal scenario, what Lando Norris needs is that he goes on to win this race and Max Verstappen does not score any points. That would really close the championship battle up, and it would make things very, very interesting for the final race of the final couple of races of the season. However, it is raining in Interlagos. Anything can happen. Norris could get taken out turn number 1. Verstappen could get taken out turn number 1. So, the McLaren fans, you will be holding your breath all race long because it is so unpredictable. We've seen here in previously, I think 2003 in the Brazilian Grand Prix, there were so many drivers just going straight on at one of the corners because it was they were all aquaplaning off. Very unpredictable circuit, very unpredictable weather, and it's just the way that we like it. And if I'm going for the World Constructors' Championship, Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull are very close to each other. Yes, that is very true. One bad weekend, a double DNF for McLaren could spell the end of their, for Ferrari, actually. If Leclerc DNFs and Sainz is starting from 20th place, that could put an end to their hopes of getting first place in the Constructors' Championship. If McLaren get a double DNF, then the chances of them losing the Constructors' Championship go wildly up. Red Bull both have a lot of work to do. Perez starting in 12th, Verstappen in 17th. They've got so many places to make up. And also, you've got to make these places up very safely, in a very safe manner. You can't, just go sending one down the inside, because if the driver turns in that you're trying to overtake, then you get damage to your side pod, you get damage to your front wing, and then you have damage for the rest of the race, and you won't be able to continue. So, who knows what will happen. But folks, I do have to tell you one thing. We have seen this in 2012. Sebastian Vettel was going on to a world championship, and he needed to finish above, I think, 6th position or 5th position or something. And going into turn number 3, he got spun around and ended up in last place of the race on the opening lap. And it's a very, very similar scenario here for Max Verstappen. He's going to be starting in 17th position at the start of this race, and Lando Norris, his championship rival, will be up in first. So Max Verstappen has to pull off a drive of champions. He's done it before in 2016, where he charged his way through the field to go on and take a win. And he could do it again. It's starting in 17th place. He's got to pick his way through the field, make his moves very, very carefully, very diligently, and not be too aggressive. And if he can do all of that and survive 71 laps of Sao Paulo, of course his team will do the correct strategy, hopefully, and his team will play a pretty big role, but Verstappen's got it all to do. And if he can drive today and get up onto the podium, then it proves why he is a 3-time world champion. All right. 12 minutes now. 12 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, until we get underway for the formation lap. Then after the formation lap, we'll have 71 laps of racing. Yeah. Albon isn't starting. Yes, I'd just like to confirm this. Sainz will be starting from the pit lane, a fresh power unit and a fresh gearbox. Alex Albon will not be starting. In fact, he's not taking part in the race. The damage was far too severe on his car for the Williams mechanics to repair in time. Williams mechanics, they have had to deal with Logan Sargent for quite a while. These are probably the most experienced mechanics on the grid. Like, if you're a mechanic and you drove for, say, Mercedes, you basically do no work whatsoever because the drivers never crash. But if you're a mechanic and you drive for Williams and you work for Williams, then you are probably the best mechanic on the grid, and you have so much more experience than the rest of them. So yeah, these are probably the best mechanics that Formula One has to offer, and they couldn't fix Albon's car, so I don't think anything could have really have been done there. With VCARB looking at big points, this might reshuffle the fight between Haas, Aston and VCARB. Yes, let's have a look at the constructor standings for the other teams, because this is big money that is involved here. If you go up one position in the Constructors' Championship, you gain, I think, between 4 and 6 million of prize money. It is very, very important. And RB are 36 points in the Constructors' Championship. Haas are 46 points. So if RB go and score, if they end up in 3 and 5, then they are most definitely going to jump Haas in the points. Haas are starting 15th and 18th. So yeah, that could be very, very big for RB. I don't think they're going to catch up to Aston Martin. However, I'd say even for Alpine, if they score a podium today, then they're going to catch right up to RB. They're going to leapfrog Williams. And also there is the possibility that with Valtteri Bottas starting in 11th place, he could go on to get a podium. That would be absolutely wild, and would be fantastic if he could do that, because Sauber, well, not a podium, I'd say probably so it was just some points, but either way, Sauber are in dire needs of some points, and it would be great to see Valtteri Bottas actually score some points this season. Maybe because it could be the final race, not the final race, but the final season of his career, with a seat undecided for 2025 and rumours flying around that Gabriel Bortoleto has been signed for Audi. Options and times running out for Valtteri Bottas, and at least it would be a good way to end your final season with some points to your name. Okay. Oh, you're getting adverts. Oops. Let me just pause the adverts. Apologies for that. Yeah. Right. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We are now 9 minutes away from the start of the Grand Prix, and this one is gonna be fantastic. Here we go. All right. Oh, what else is there to talk about? Well, I mean, the Aston starting in 9th and 10th place. It's a very rare to see Fernando Alonso make a mistake there. We saw him going through turn number 11, getting a little bit too close to the white line. I think the rear tyre touched the white line, and because of that, the car went and did a spin, and he went into the barriers. So, very unfortunate there from Fernando Alonso. And in these current conditions, what the drivers will be doing on the formation laps is they will be exploring all of the different parts of the circuit. They'll try and figure out, they'll of course have a bit of a memory from quali. They'll know that, oh yeah, this part of the circuit we stay away from, this part of the circuit is where we go. But they will, they'll be exploring and gathering some more information so they can try and make some moves going into the opening lap of the race. Yeah, they'll be side by side for sure going through turns number 1, 2, and 3. They're definitely not going to go single file, and side by side is where you can get some overtakes done. How is the rain? The rain is still falling. We have a 100% risk of rain, just message from race control, and that, makes sense. As of right now, there is no... Okay, apology, I said something wrong. As of right now, there is no rain falling. However, the risk of rain is 100% because the forecast predicts that it's going to rain in like the next 15 minutes or so. So we are currently on intermediate tyres. If there is no rain for the entire race, we'll probably be on inters for about half the race and then switch on to slicks. However, with the rain forecast, it might be an entire race done on intermediate tyres. Will Sainz come out? Yes, he will. Sainz's car is repaired. He is sat at the end of the pit lane. Well, not as of right now. He's sat in the garage, but he will go to the end of the pit lane once the race gets underway. He will start the race from the pits. Alex Albon, however, will not be taking part. He is out of the Grand Prix. He'll be a did not start instead of a did not finish. He's not even going to start the race. We're just getting radio checks coming through there. Charles Leclerc getting a radio check, and then 8 minutes to go. Information just being conveyed over to the Kick Sauber guys. Can you move the transcripts down so we can see the latest things? Yeah, the latest things are coming through. Like they're just not many radio messages actually coming through as of right now. So, yeah. Okay. What else have we got to talk about? I'm going to double check that there's no more breaking news that has just come out in the final couple of minutes. No breaking news. We're now very, very shortly getting underway. Would a weather overlay be possible? Unfortunately not. The weather radar that the teams have on the circuit is super accurate. However, I do not have access to anything like that. Ventusky or Ventusky, whatever you want to call it, its resolution is pretty terrible, so you can't actually get an accurate read for how much rain there's going to be and when it's going to fall in the certain region that we want to look at. Like if you want to look at the entire country as a whole, like sure, Ventusky is probably good enough. However, when we're looking at a very specific region, you need the weather radars right there, and I don't have access to those. All right. Is Hamilton in the pits? No, Hamilton is not in the pits. Hamilton is on the circuit, and he'll be starting the race from the starting grid. He will not be starting the race from the pits. There were quite a few people that were saying that Hamilton would start from the pits, but no, No, they have not opted to change the setup. They've opted to just continue on with the same setup for Lewis Hamilton. Admittedly, he had a very tough time in quali. The car just was not with him, and yeah, so he was he's been struggling this weekend, and we'll see if he'll be able to bounce back in the race. Given its wet conditions, I would have expected a fantastic lap from Hamilton, but nothing materialized really, and he's down in 14th place. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, where do you think how long is it going to take Max Verstappen to get up into the points? He's currently starting the race in 17th place. And, you know, if you consider some crashes, if you consider some overtakes, on what lap do you think Max Verstappen will make it up into the points? I would say, I'd probably say lap number 15. I might be a bit ambitious here, but I think Verstappen has got some very good overtaking skills, especially at this circuit. So I'm going to say lap number 15, and we see Max Verstappen make it up into the points. Lap 15, 20, 23, lap 12, lap 6, lap 35. We'll wait and see. We shall wait and see. But yeah, it's going to be a long race for everyone. 71 laps. The lap times will be around about a 1 minute 30. So that's going to take the race up to probably how long that's going to be. It's going to be an hour and 55 minutes, an hour and 45 minutes. That's how long the race will be. So a very long race, a long time for the drivers to stay focused, a long time for the drivers to potentially make a little mistake and crash immediately. So we'll wait and see what happens. We're 4 minutes away from the start of the race, though. Folks, if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. It hugely helps out the channel. Essentially just tells the YouTube algorithm, like, oh, this is an amazing live stream. I'm going to recommend it to loads more people. And we get more people in the chat. So here we go, then. I welcome you guys to round number 21 of 24 in the Formula One season. We are at Sao Paulo in Brazil at the Interlagos Race Circuit. It is in between 3 lakes, hence Interlagos, and we have got a fantastic circuit for you today. 4.3 kilometers in length, totally soaked in rain. And we have 2 DRS zones. They're probably not going to be used very much. We've just got messages coming to Oscar Piastri. Latest rain expected class 1 or 2 approximately in 15 minutes time. So 15 minutes and we'll have rain arriving. The circuit has got 40 meters of elevation change. The elevation change means that there are certain areas of circuit, like turn number 4, where there are huge puddles and huge rivers of rain. And that is very tricky for the drivers to manage with. There are other parts of the circuit where rain isn't too big of an issue, but we shall see how the drivers deal with the conditions, and we'll see how many DNF. And here we are on the starting grid then. We have got... In fact, no, I'll take you for a lap around the circuit. So, let's have a look around the lap of the circuit. Let me just get the track map up on my screen. Here we go. So we have got, of course, the main straight. Going down into turn number 1, there is a 200-meter run before the drivers get onto the brakes. So 200 meters is a very short distance. Lando Norris managed to hold on to his lead managed to hold on to second place, going into the sprint race yesterday. So I think he should be able to do the same on today's race. Maybe George Russell will send one down the inside. I would like to be very clear. Everyone is starting the race on the intermediate tyres, and Norris will be on the outside line going to turn number 1. Russell will be on the inside line. So anyone on an even number will be on the inside line. Anyone on an odd number will be on the outside line. So Russell could really send one down the inside, but only 200 meters is the run from pole position to the braking zone of turn number 1. Then you have the center S of turn number 1, 2, and 3, and it's very important to stay off the curbs here. You can touch the curbs a little bit, but if you touch them a little bit too much, then your car does a nice 360. You can ask Albon, you can ask Colapinto, you can ask Sainz, and they'll tell you how quickly the car does a 360. Then you go through turn number 3. You want to stay away from the curbs there, because there is typically a river that builds up on the inside of that curb, so the drivers stay a little bit further away. And then you go towards turn number 4, the biggest aquaplaning region of the circuit. The drivers slam onto the brakes, but sometimes they just go straight on because there is a huge river at the braking point. So the drivers are very careful of that. Then they go up the hill towards turn number 5, where the water isn't too big of an issue. Turn 6, the curbs, very, very risky to go on those as well. As you go into turn number 8, you hit those apexes, and in fact, you can take the outside line on quite a lot of these corners, because the outside line sometimes gives you more grip than the inside line, even though you're covering a longer distance. It's very, very interesting. I'll talk about the wet racing lines later on. But as the drivers go towards turn number 10, the margin of error turns to absolute zero, because there is no entry curb. So if you ever so as much touch the white line, you are off into the grass, and that is the end of your race. Turn number 11, we saw Fernando Alonso crash there once again. The inside line of the apex has a nice puddle and a nice white line to give you a quick spin, so the drivers have to be careful of that. Turn number 12, there's a very big bump on the braking point of that corner, so we've seen loads of drivers go off there in quali. In Q1, so many drivers went off, and that bump was the biggest problem for everyone. And then, of course, you've got a nice 1 kilometer long straight to go racing. But here we are, underway for the formation lap. You're just seeing the team radio messages on the right hand side. 15 seconds, 10 seconds to go till we are underway for the formation lap. This is gonna be a good one. All right. So the starting grid, we have got Carlos Sainz starting from the pit lane, Guan Yu Zhou in 19th place, and then we have and then we have Nico Hülkenberg in 18th, who scored a pole position here back in 2010. It was a fantastic day for Nico Hülkenberg, and a fantastic day for, I think, the Force India team at that point. I don't know if it was Force India or which team it was exactly, but a fantastic day nonetheless, and we'll see if you can replicate some of that success today. We've got Max Verstappen in 17th position, looking to make up a lot of places after a 5-place grid penalty for a new internal combustion engine. We have Franco Colapinto in 16th place. First ever wet race. We'll wait and see what he can do. There's a huge gap between Alonso and Piastri. I don't know if that's an issue for Alonso, and that's why he's going so slowly, but I don't know why there's such a huge gap there. They'll have to sort that one out very quickly. Then as we go up the pack, we have Behrman in 15th. His also first wet race. It's going to be very difficult for him to stay on the circuit the entire race, but we'll see how well he can do. Hamilton in 14th, having a yellow flag. Who's that? Stroll's spun at turn number 4 on the formation lap. We're going to have a delayed formation lap here, folks. We're going to have a double formation lap because Stroll has spun. What is going on here? Going into turn number 4, I think he had a little bit of aquaplaning or something. Onto turn number 4, taps the brakes, the car just spins around. It seems like it was a brake failure or something. His front wing is in fact intact. I don't know how it is intact, but the carbon fiber has absorbed all of the force, and he's back onto the circuit. I have a feeling that we are going to get a delayed race start, and Stroll will be told to get back into position. But I mean, this is just average Stroll moment, isn't it? Oh no, he's stuck in the. Is that Alonso? Is that Alonso or no? It's Stroll. Stroll's stuck in the gravel. I don't know what they're going to do here. They're going to abort the race start, or are they going to bring out the safety car as soon as the race begins? Stroll is stuck in the gravel, and I'm beached. Yeah, that's what he said over the radio. So they're not going to immediately go start the race with double yellows, and they are, the drivers are saying, oh, the track's drying up and they need to do burnouts, and the engineers are saying, get the rear tire temperatures up and everything, but they cannot start the race in this situation. Going into turn number 4, that is prime opportunity to have a crash, so they must surely delay the race, or unless they bring the safety car out immediately. I don't know what is going on here. I mean, this is absolute cinema here. The Brazilian Grand Prix never disappoints, and the race hasn't even started, and we've already got chaos going on. Carlos Sainz is right there, queued up at the end of the pit lane, ready to go. We've got 20,000 people tuned into live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button. Hopefully we can hit 5,000 likes. That would be spectacular. The last cars are approaching the grid, and what are they doing? We have got nothing from race control. The last thing I've got from race control is a double yellow flag. Stroll is just stood there at turn number 4. They cannot start the race in these conditions, and they've aborted the start, and we're having a second formation lap. This will count towards the race, so the lap counter will go to lap number 2 once we do the second formation lap, but an aborted start for the Brazilian Grand Prix because Lance Stroll crashed on the formation lap. Way to go, Lance. All right. What a turn of events, folks. What a turn of events. This is incredible. Here we go. Whereas Albon is not taking part in this race. He has far too much damage to take part, and because of that, they couldn't repair his car in time, and he's not taking part. There is a crane that's already gone to Lance Stroll's car. They've picked up his car, so if the formation lap is slow enough, then why are half the drivers still left on the grid? Oh, everyone's going. What's going on here? Half the drivers are left on the grid, and the other half are just sat there. I think some cars have some issues, and they're just waiting on the grid. This is total confusion because they had an aborted start, and then they restarted the race. They restarted the formation lap. I think, is Verstappen just playing around on his steering wheel? Is he having some issue? Verstappen's got underway. What's he saying over the radio? Is this issues for Max Verstappen? Okay, it's not issues for Max Verstappen. It's not issues. It's just confusion. Confusion about the race start procedure. And are they going to do a double formation lap, a triple formation lap? I'm not sure what's going on here. But Lando Norris is now on the start-finish straight. Zhou and Verstappen are right at the exit of turn number 3. This is the most normal Brazilian Grand Prix that I've ever seen before. What is going on? I mean, I'm total confusion. And for some reason, half the cars were still sat on the grid. I have a feeling someone didn't go because their clutches weren't working properly. Like they couldn't. Maybe it was Colapinto. But one of the drivers were having some issues, essentially just getting the car going again. And it was Colapinto. Colapinto hit the brakes too hard, stopped in a grid position too early, and then had to restart his car, continue onwards. Oh my God, what is going on here? I mean, Stroll is out this race. Have they got the car off the circuit yet? There's still double yellows waving around. So are they going to do a second aborted start? I can't tell. I cannot tell. Okay, no, they've picked up the car and they've gone off the circuit. Okay, so the car is now safely behind the barriers. The crane is behind the barriers, and we should be fine to go racing. However, Colapinto, Verstappen, Hülkenberg, and Zhou are still yet to reach the final bit of the grid. So here we go. All right. This one hopefully is a little better than before. All right. Yeah, there was apparently just a bit of a mess at the front, and that's why all of this happened. But now there are mechanics running onto the circuit. And they are. What are they doing? There's Aston Martin mechanics. Are they What are they doing? They're jump starting Alonso's car. They're picking up Alonso's car. And there are Ferrari mechanics as well. What? Formation lap? Formation. Okay, they've just cancelled the entire race. They've delayed the race start by 11 minutes. The formation lap is starting in 10 minutes, and all of the mechanics are coming back to the grid. What? Okay, I mean, apologies for all of the confusion, folks, but as you can clearly tell, I have no idea what's going on. This has never happened before, as far as I can tell, but they are redoing the formation lap, they're gonna do a second or a triple formation lap at this point. Apparently, there's an incident. Lando Norris has been noted for a starting procedure infringement. I don't know what that means. I don't know which rule that Norris broke. However, he's going to be investigated for that. I don't think they'll get a penalty because it's not even the proper race start. But they have delayed the race start by 10 minutes. 10 minutes, and then we will properly be racing. And that is, in fact, good news. It gives more time for the rain to arrive, which I'm quite happy about. So, I don't know. Yeah, Sainz is chilling at the end of the pit lane. I mean, they will have switched off Sainz's engine and everything will be fine. But Sainz is just chilling, like, smooth operator. I don't know what is going on here. So they've got all the mechanics have come back out. They brought the tyre warmers onto the thing. I mean, the mechanics were clearly not prepared for this because Lando's front left tyre hasn't got a tyre warmer yet. And now they're all running back onto the grid to warm up the tires, to put in the air intake coolers again. Yeah, the whole grid just got totally strolled, and instead of 71 laps of racing, we're going to now have 69 laps of racing, I think, which would be very nice. But what is going on here? I mean, it makes no sense to me. All right. Yeah, Norris is now under investigation for a starting procedure infringement. Did Norris make a mistake, and that's why we're starting? We've delayed the start of the race by 10 minutes. Thank you for the donation, Alex. Total Chaos. Keep up the good work. Very much is appreciated, buddy. Yeah, wow, 22,000 people tuned into the live stream. Very much do appreciate all the support, folks. If you aren't subscribed, be sure to do so. And if you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do that as well. This is a fantastic race that we've had. Well, the race hasn't started, but the race is... But you know, it's been fantastic so far, just chaos, really. We've got team radio messages from Leclerc saying they're seeing the first drops of rain. So the rain that was predicted to arrive in about 5 minutes' time has already started to fall, which just makes things a lot better. And now they're showing us a shot of the FIA race control, and they're just sat there, I think, looking like a bunch of idiots, really, because I don't know what they've done. Can Stroll come back? I don't think so. Stroll's car is currently hooked up to a crane, and yeah. So I don't think he'll be able to come back. I don't know what is happening to Lando Norris's car either. Lando Norris has been given a safety car infringement. No, sorry, not a safety car infringement, a starting procedure infringement. I don't know what that is, but I guess they're investigating, so we'll wait and see. The FIA are amateurs. Honestly, yes. I mean, if this weekend has proved anything, the FIA are just total and complete amateurs about everything. I don't know what's going on. All right. Yeah, rain is currently developing. We are 6 minutes now away from the race, from the formation lap restart. In fact, I should put a timer up on the screen for the restart of the formation lap. There we go. And formation lap race starts in 5 minutes and 15 seconds. Okay. So that is that's what's going on here. The FIA incompetence made more fans. Indeed, I think that's probably the best way to put it. Don't know what the FIA is doing. Is the weather getting worse or better? Well, it depends. You know, it depends what you think is worse weather or better weather. But no, there is more rain expected, and because of that, because there's more rain expected, I would say that's better weather. We're going to have more interesting racing. Yeah. Since Stroll is out, will everyone go up a place? Well, Stroll's starting in 10th, so everyone will not go up a place. Everyone will start in their normal position. So Bottas will start in 11th, Perez will start in 12th. They're not going to move up one grid position. The Stroll's grid position will just remain empty. Yeah. Okay. This race is going to drive me crazy. Honestly, there's been so much action. I mean, even yesterday, I was starting to get a little annoyed at the FIA because the weather radar clearly said it was going to be a thunderstorm for the next 2 hours. But for some reason, they just wanted to keep delaying the qualifying by 15 minutes at a time. Like, they delayed it by 15 minutes and then half an hour and then 1 hour and then 1.5 hours. And I was like, well, they're definitely not going to do qualifying. So I just ended the stream. And sure enough, yeah, they postponed qualifying. Like, yeah, average FIA moment, to be honest. Average FIA moment. Why is Albon out? He crashed in Q3, and Q3 was only a couple of hours ago, so Williams didn't have enough time to repair the car. Okay, the race will not get cancelled. No, the rain is nowhere near heavy enough to cancel the race. However, the race has been delayed a little bit for unknown reasons. Yeah. you think we're going to see a Max Masterclass today? I think so, actually, yeah. Given that we have wet conditions, more rain on the way, I'm expecting a Max Masterclass. He's done this previously in the past, in 2016. Fantastic drive in the Brazilian Grand Prix, and I think he can replicate that success, yeah. Okay, what else have we got to talk about? I mean, look at this. We're 45 minutes into the live stream, and normally it's 30 minutes into live stream and the race starts, but no, it's now 45 minutes into the live stream and the race hasn't started yet. Did Lando get a penalty? No, he's still under investigation. I don't know if they're just going to cancel the under investigation and no penalty given, or because I mean, it would be stupid to give Lando Norris a penalty if it was for a race start procedure that didn't even actually start the race. Like, unless Norris was the reason why we have a 10-minute delay, I think it makes little to no sense to give him a penalty. Since doing a total restart, I have no laps counted. No, the laps have counted. So the way that it works is the formation lap counts as one lap, but then every single lap that you do after the formation lap that isn't the start of the race, instead of increasing the lap count by 1, it decreases the total lap count. So if you go back to the start of the live stream, it said 71 laps of racing. Now it only says 70, and then after we do a second formation or a third formation lap, it will go down to 69 laps. Yeah. So that is that's how it's going to work. Will Stroll return? No, Stroll will not return. His car is still there at turn number 4, and they'll only get it back at the end of the race. So, yeah, there's no way Stroll's going to take part in this race again. Sainz is starting from the pits because he crashed in qualifying, and they had to they didn't have to, but they decided that they'll replace the gearbox and replace the power unit, and because of that he took a grid penalty and he's starting from the pit lane. Will Sainz have warm tyres? Yes, the Ferrari mechanics did go out and they've connected the tyre warmers up to Sainz's car. So Sainz will have warm tyres, and then they'll take off the tyre warmers once the formation lap is underway. In fact, they're just coming over the radio now to Charles Leclerc saying pit limiter on, formation lap, do the clutch test and the bite point test, and get ready to go racing. And a lot of the drivers will start the race in second gear, actually, because you're so traction limited in first gear that you're actually better off starting the race in second gear, losing a little bit of theoretical torque, but actually practically being able to use the torque because you're not just be constantly wheel spinning. All right. So 45 seconds is what it says on to Colapinto and to Russell. So let me just take off this timer. And yeah, there we go. 30 seconds now till the formation lap starts for the third time. When is the wet weather? The wet weather is right now. The rain has been forecast. It's currently falling a little bit here and there. But it's properly meant to arrive in the next 5 minutes. Yuki Tsunoda must be very, very confused. The first time he started up in third place, and he's had to do 3 formation laps because Stroll crashed at turn number 4. Like, how have you done that? But I don't know. To be fair, it looked very strange. I don't know if it was Stroll's fault, but he did cause quite a bit of chaos. All right, we're at 2,700 likes, which is incredible considering the race hasn't even started yet. I might have to increase that like target, but finally we are underway for the third formation lap, and Lando Norris and George Russell lead the way, and Tsunoda is there in third place. Very, very nice. Why are they investigating Norris? I am not sure. He made some sort of infringement under the starting procedure. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I haven't memorized the entire FIA rulebook. They'll probably disclose it in some statement, in some document at the end of the Grand Prix. Yeah. Okay, all of the mechanics now making their way back into the garages, and we now have everyone underway on the formation lap. Once again, I'd like to clarify, drivers aren't going to go into Albon's slot. Albon's slot will remain empty. Lance Stroll's grid position will also remain empty. The drivers will not jump up one position. They're just going to stay put in wherever their starting grid spot is. And Norris has just come over the radio saying it's spitting with rain. So the rain has begun to fall. It was forecast to fall just around about now. And the forecast is correct. And we are once again getting drips and drops of rain as we get underway for a Brazilian Grand Prix. Fantastic. The previous winners of the Brazilian Grand Prix 2023 was Max Verstappen, 2022 George Russell, 2021 Lewis Hamilton, and 2019 was Verstappen, 2018 was Hamilton. Who is it going to be today? Is it going to be Norris? Is it going to be Verstappen? Or is it going to be someone totally different? Kov H, thank you for joining the channel members. Very much is appreciated, buddy. Do you think we'll see the wets? Probably not. I don't think the rain that is forecast is particularly heavy. So I think intermediate tyres will be the optimal. All of the drivers now, they'll be using second gear to start the race. They are doing quite a lot of burnouts to bring the rear tyre temperatures up into the correct window. And here we go. We are going to have the start of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Very, very shortly, the rain has begun to fall. It's starting to get heavier, but it is still going to be intermediate conditions. The drivers are now lined up on their grid slots once again. For the third time now, Lando Norris takes pole position, George Russell in second place, and the final driver, Guan Yu Zhou, is now approaching his grid position. Yuki Tsunoda starting the race in second place. We can see up on his dash, he is starting the race in second gear. He's got his clutch settings dialed in, and soon enough, he'll be building the revs. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is going to be a race that goes into the history books. We have got 20,000 horsepower screaming away at 11,000 RPM. The lights are out and we are racing. A great start from Lando Norris, but George Russell is already looking to the inside and Russell takes the lead going into turn number 1. A fantastic race start. They are 3 wide going through turn number 2 and someone's going to get pinched. There is there contact? No, it was so close. Contact between Tsunoda, Ocon and Leclerc. Leclerc up into 5th. Piastri is making up places and Lando Norris loses the race lead to George Russell immediately. Piastri's side by side with Lawson going into turn number 4, but Lawson just manages to squeeze ahead and Verstappen is up. Verstappen's up 6 places. What a race start. Oh my goodness me. I said it would be lap number 12 when Verstappen would get up into the points. He's already in 11th place. How has he done this? Wow. Okay, and Norris in second place. Tsunoda doing a fantastic job there, still side by side. We've got Verstappen versus Hamilton through turn number 7, and Hamilton nearly squeezes him out, but just leaves enough room. Verstappen backs out of it. He knows that he's got to get some solid points this weekend, otherwise the championship, he could be in very, very big trouble. And we've got Valtteri Bottas fighting Oliver Behrman going through turn number 13. There's a yellow flag. Who's that spun around? Is that Verstappen or is it Perez? It's Perez. Okay, it's Perez. It's not Verstappen. I mean, I was very scared there for the championship. That would have been wild. Yeah, Perez spins around. Oh, that one was close. For any of you Max fans out there, I'm sure your hearts would have definitely skipped a beat. But Verstappen there in 11th, and we've got Hulkenberg into 14th. Verstappen slides down the inside at turn number 1, says, see you later to Lewis Hamilton. I'll take 10th position off you. And Verstappen on lap number 2 of this race is up into the points. Wow. Fantastic job from Max Verstappen, I must say. Norris is not under threat of even overtaking Russell, so he's got a lot of work to do. Ocon is right on the back of Tsunoda here, and this could get exciting. Of course, there's no DRS as we are in wet conditions. However, yeah, overtaking will still be fairly easy because you got to get a good run out of 12, and then a slipstream should be more than enough to get you covered into turn number 1. Yeah. All right, and here we are on lap number 2 of 70. No DRS as of now, and I don't think we'll have DRS for the next couple of laps at least, until the drivers start switching on to slick tyres. There is still rain falling, and yeah. Here we go then. George Russell leads the way. The spray is really not too bad. We do see Norris, though, taking slightly different lines just to avoid the spray, if he can, from George Russell. However, most drivers are now taking the optimal racing line. In fact, Alonso isn't. Alonso's taking some strange lines here, but the strange lines seem to work. Oh, the Hasses get very, very close. In fact, that was Behrman nearly got pushed off Behrman nearly pushed Hulkenberg off onto the AstroTurf. Somehow Hulkenberg managed to keep the car under control. Otherwise, he would have went spinning off into the barriers exactly like Albon did. And they've said heavy rain in Sector 3 for Carlos Sainz. The rain is getting heavier. The race is going to get even more exciting. And the two Hasses squabbling away down in 13th and 14th place. This one, I mean, Behrman, of course, is a rookie, but, he should be given a chance to fight for sure. George Russell, fastest lap of the race, a purple in the first sector as well, and he's going to try and score as many points as possible and build that gap out to Lando Norris. That's one thing that he's going to do for certain. Where are the DRS sections? The DRS sections are, well, they're not important as of now, but the DRS sections are between turn number 3 and 4, so down here, and then there's DRS down the main straight as well. So those are the two DRS sections on this track. Okay. But it doesn't matter. DRS is not enabled. The drivers aren't using it because it is wet conditions. Another fastest lap of the race for Russell, but that quickly gets taken away by Lando Norris, and Lando Norris will try to chase down his fellow Brit. Tsunoda is dropping off the back. That is, fair enough. But Ocon also drops off the back of Tsunoda, and now Ocon's under pressure from Charles Leclerc. So Leclerc in the faster Ferrari. We expect that he should catch up soon enough, but all of the drivers now, they are in full focus mode, and every single lap, the conditions change. Every time they go through the same corner, their braking points need to be slightly different. They need to start accelerating at different points. Sector 3 is getting heavier and heavier rain compared to everywhere else, and the drivers are going to have to be careful. All right, Max Verstappen, though, he's now in 10th place. He's got to overtake Pierre Gasly to get up into 9th. So let's wait and see. He is right on the back of Gasly, and 2/10 is the gap. He's really putting him under a lot of pressure. He's taking some different lines as well as Pierre Gasly is, but the car is twitching around underneath him just as it is for everyone else. Oh, we've got a yellow flag. Yellow flag for... never mind. It's just they've cancelled the yellow flag. I don't know what that was for, but... Here comes Max Verstappen now going through turn number 12. He avoids the bump very nicely. Not too much of an issue now because the ride heights are slightly higher in wet conditions. He gets a slight snap of oversteer as he exits turn number 12, and that might compromise him going into turn number 1. Let's wait and see. A fastest lap of the race from Lando Norris. He gets within a second of George Russell. This battle is going to be very, very good. And Verstappen, he sends one to the inside of Pierre Gasly. Gasly does not fight it. He knows that Verstappen is much, much quicker. He's got a championship to deal with. Gasly's got to score some points for his team to make sure that they have a good shot of going up in the constructors. Two totally different aims, and the drivers they concede position, and I think fair enough. Next up is Fernando Alonso. The thing is, after Fernando Alonso, there's Oscar Piastri, and Oscar Piastri is not going to make it easy for Max Verstappen. I can tell you that for certain. He will be told to defend and to defend hard. Because, well, why wouldn't you? So we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see how it works for Max Verstappen when he tries to overtake Piastri. We're on lap number 5 of 70, and this has been a fantastic race so far. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We've got 31,000 people tuned into the live stream. Very much do appreciate all the support. Be sure to hit the like button. Hopefully we can hit 5,000 likes. And well, the battle up at the front is really heating up here. Lando Norris purple in the middle sector within 0.8 of a second of George Russell now. And let's wait and see what he can do as they come down the main straight. He's gaining in the slipstream. He, in fact, dips out the slipstream a little bit just to gain a little bit more visibility. Visibility is a pretty big issue in these 2024 cars. The spray that you get from the floor, just kicking all of the air up, makes visibility pretty bad. And Norris pulling out of the slipstream to get some more visibility. And also, if we watch the replays here, folks, I would like to just explain to you what happened to Max Verstappen and how he gained 5 positions on the start of this race. How he did it was the outside line of turn number 3 has in fact got so much grip that you just wouldn't expect. I've talked about this earlier. Wet racing. Oh, Verstappen passed Alonso. Very nice into turn number 4. He gets past Alonso. So now next up is Oscar Piastri. That's going to be the tough one. So the wet racing lines, what happens is on Saturday morning there was a sprint race. Quite a lot of rubber got embedded into the track while the drivers were driving along the racing line. So the rubber squeezed into the track, and then when the rain falls on top of that rubber, it actually provides less grip. So the combination of asphalt, rubber, and rainwater gives less grip than just asphalt and rainwater. So there's a lot of rubber deposited on the inside line of turn number 3. Verstappen took the outside line of turn number 3, which has a good, consistent amount of grip. And he just swooped around the outside of about 3 cars. And turn number 3 is a very long corner. He did it previously in 2016. I think he went round the outside of Nico Hülkenberg. Verstappen just goes out there, finds the grip, makes the overtake, and says, thank you very much. And look at that, purple middle sector for Max Verstappen. He's got a 2 seconds worth of clean air, and he's pulling out purple middle sectors. Some fantastic pace from Max Verstappen. And let's see if he can catch up to Piastri. So a fantastic race start. That's how he did it. Taking the outside line at turn number 3. He's done it in the past. He's going to do it again. And a fast lap of the race as well to go with it. Okay, and the gap at the front, George Russell versus Lando Norris. It's still hovering around 7-8 tenths of a second. We may see some of the drivers start to deploy their battery. I mean, Norris has got he's got the opportunity here that if he can get ahead of Russell, then he can pull a bit of a gap out. Whereas right now, Russell is controlling his pace. Norris can't, if Norris wants to go quicker, he just gets stuck in the dirty air of Russell and can't do anything about it. And all the while, Max Verstappen is catching up. He's catched up, half a second to Piastri in the matter of half a lap. So, yeah, Norris has really got to get ahead of Russell now for him to outscore Verstappen this Grand Prix. And, of course, it's in Russell's best interest to continue on and win this race exactly like he did in 2022. So we shall see who comes out on top. But they gap 1.1 seconds, and I think Norris might be getting told over the radio. He's in fact being told to manage his pace a little bit. So maybe they're concerned about tyres. I don't know how the tyres would work. The drivers can just do the entire race on one set of intermediate tyres if they would like. However, that's not going to be the fastest way around to do 70 laps of racing. They're probably going to pit halfway, do 35 laps on one set, do 35 laps on a second set. But we have already now started to see the drivers take strange lines to cool down their intermediate tyres, because the inter tyres have a very specific temperature range, and as the circuit starts to dry up, the drivers actually have to drive it through the puddles, through the wet parts of the circuit to cool the temperatures, to cool the tyres down. So yeah, Verstappen and quite a lot of the other drivers now taking strange lines, going through puddles on the circuit to maximize the cooling that they can get on those tyres. Okie doke, so here is Max Verstappen. Now he's caught up to the back of Oscar Piastri. Piastri will have a bit of DRS from Liam Lawson. Well, not DRS, a bit of slipstream from Liam Lawson, but he will also have dirty air as well. And Max Verstappen is getting perilously close now as they go through turn number 12. Verstappen, we're on board with him. Piastri gets a little twitch. Verstappen gets a slight bit of wheel spin, but both drivers are cleanly out of turn number 12. And Verstappen now, he is gaining as they head towards turn number 1, bouncing over the resurfaced track. He looks to the inside of Oscar Piastri, but he knows that Piastri's not going to make it this easy on him, and he decides to save the fight for another day. Oliver Behrman has been given a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision with Franco Colapinto. He was under investigation for that a little bit earlier, and I think fair enough. If he has caused a collision, I haven't seen the replay, so I don't know how fair that was, or if it's just another stupid FIA decision. We'll have to wait and see. There's no DRS because it's wet conditions. The circuit, essentially, when you have DRS, the downforce is a lot lower, and it becomes a little unsafe to use in wet conditions because you're also much more likely to slip around and slide about in wets. So essentially, the FIA say if it's raining, we'll disable DRS to make sure that the drivers have the most downforce and the most control over their car in these wet conditions. Ooh, a bit of an oversteer movement there for Piastri, and well, the mistakes are going to start creeping in. If you've got a charging Red Bull in your mirrors, mistakes will be creeping in. Hamilton over the radio says the ride is really bad, like bouncing so much. Hamilton in 11th place. He also made up 3 places off the start of this race, but unable to get any further ahead than Pierre Gasly. A fastest lap of the race there for George Russell. He's 1.1 seconds ahead of Norris, maintaining that gap very, very nicely and doing lap times of a 1:24.2. Verstappen doing a lap time of 1:24.7, mainly because he's stuck behind Piastri. And he sends one to the inside of Piastri. Can he get that move done? Yes, he can. Piastri is going to try the switchback as they go through turn number 3 now. The Piastri looks to the outside line. He gets very close to the inside line, but a twitch of oversteer, and that is the overtake complete. Piastri, he touched the white line as he was going through turn number 3. A twitch of oversteer, and Verstappen is up into 7th place. All right. I mean, that was the hardest overtake for Verstappen. I mean, Piastri could have made it super difficult, went defensive and just played loads of games holding Verstappen back. But the overtake is now done. Liam Lawson will, I'm sure Liam Lawson will get out of the way. I mean, he's had his moments with Alonso and with Perez, but if he wants a seat at Red Bull, the main thing is do not interfere with the World Drivers' Championship. So, I think Lawson should get out of the way. If he doesn't, then he will most definitely not be signed by Red Bull. Behrman, I don't think that was... I mean, Behrman did, of course, touch Colapinto, but I've just seen the replay here, and Behrman made a mistake here. Like, it wasn't even he was trying to intentionally hit him or anything like that. He just underjudged his speed, and he carried too much speed through the corner, clipped Colapinto. Colapinto lost absolutely 0 time. There was no puncture, no anything for Colapinto, just a little bit of a tap from the rear. Behrman did a 360, lost a fair amount of time, but still he gets a 10-second penalty. So I can conclusively say that was a stupid penalty from the FIA, and I mean, it's just the average FIA moment. We've got Liam Lawson now. He's stuck behind... he's holding Verstappen back. Verstappen, in fact, weaving left, right, getting those tyres cool down again. And I think he's going to overtake Lawson on the next lap. But he is right on his tail, so let's wait and see. Yuki's radio is so quiet. Yeah, I mean, I think Yuki is just totally focused here. In these wet conditions, it is very, very tricky. And, normally in other... Verstappen sends a move down the inside at turn number 8. A ridiculous place to make a move, but he knows that he can get it done. And he does so very well. Gets the move done on Lawson and is now up into 6th position. I then thank you for the donation. Nice commentary, very much is appreciated, buddy. Glad that you enjoy, and I'm glad that we've got 33,000 people watching, and I'm glad that you're all enjoying as well. Hopefully you can hit the like button. Hopefully you can subscribe. If we could hit our subscriber target, that'd be fantastic. Oh, a yellow flag, double yellows, and who's that going slowly? Is that everyone seems to be going along fine. I don't know why they have called double yellows. Is that Hamilton? I don't know. I do not know, but it's they've cleared that up immediately, so I guess no issues. Hamilton, okay. Oh yeah, Hamilton dropped from 11th to 12th, so it must have been a mistake there for Hamilton. A very, very bad weekend then, I'm guessing, if Hamilton's had another mistake. And they're racing here, the Hamilton versus Colapinto. Colapinto manages to squeeze ahead of Hamilton as they go through turn number 12. Sorry, not turn number 12, turn number 3. Colapinto gets ahead of Hamilton, and Hamilton losing 2 positions after 1 mistake. Not ideal here for Lewis Hamilton, and I don't know, Ferrari may be regretting their choice. I mean, Hamilton's had a couple of bad races in a row. His season hasn't been that good. His qualifying performance is going a little bit downhill compared to Russell, and they're kicking out Carlos Sainz for him. Yeah, I don't know. But Yuki is super focused. What I was saying earlier is that normally in dry races, you see that the drivers are having big old conversations over the radio saying, oh, I think this would be the optimal strategy because I can do this lap time for the next 5 laps or whatever. But in these wet conditions, the drivers are totally focused, and the only thing that they ever get is gaps from behind. They get, how far is the driver behind you, and then they get information about what the rain is doing. Yeah, so here comes Max Verstappen now. He's 1.4 seconds back from Charles Leclerc. where there is another infringement here. Russell, Tsunoda, and Lawson will be investigated after the race for a starting procedure infringement, and Norris will also be investigated after the race for a starting procedure infringement. I mean, I don't know what the FIA is doing here, but sure, why not? You can investigate it after the race. Oh, another donation, Exoteric Machine Gods. Bless F1 Gamer for ad blocking. Yeah, I am still blocking adverts. For a moment there, I thought I forgot to block them, but yeah, hopefully you guys aren't getting any adverts, and yeah, you guys are enjoying the coverage. All right, here we go then. We have got a three-way battle for third position. Tsunoda versus Ocon, and then Leclerc is showing up to the back of that fight, and then Verstappen is also rolling up as well. It could be a matter of time now. If we look at the gaps between Norris and Verstappen, it's only 9 seconds. At the start of the race, it was 10. Verstappen has lost basically no time, and he's been cutting his way through traffic left, right, and centre. So, a fantastic drive from Verstappen so far. And they've just come over the radio to Piastri saying, we expect rain of this level to continue on to lap number 30. So we're on lap number 14 now. The rain has slightly intensified, and they're expecting this to continue on for till lap number 30. Oh, we've got another donation, $10 that they won't touch Norris no matter what. I don't know what you mean by they won't touch Norris, but as in they won't give him a penalty. Okay, yeah, maybe, yeah. Who knows? Well, I think Norris's one was for the race start that didn't happen, whereas Russell, Lawson, and Tsunoda might have been for the race start that did happen. So I'm not 100% certain. But yeah, I think a lot of people have a bit of some preconception that maybe the FIA are being slightly biased. I don't know. We may have some evidence to back that up, but for now, it is we're just racing. So we'll see how that goes. All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water, otherwise my throat is really going to start to hurt. We've got 34,000 people tuned in. This is fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Verstappen has done a masterclass in 2016, and he is replicating that masterclass and doing even better. He's half a second back from Leclerc, and we are about to get a fantastic battle here for third position. Okay, so here comes Verstappen, and yeah, I mean, this is the thing. Look, Verstappen is now probably going to be stuck behind Leclerc for a little bit, because Tsunoda is essentially holding up Ocon, and Ocon's holding up Leclerc, and Leclerc will get slipstreams. Will get a slipstream from Ocon, which will make overtaking down the straight or just getting close to Leclerc very, very difficult. So I think Verstappen's now going to have to force a mistake. Superheroes, I was half kidding, lol. Yeah, fair enough. But who knows what happens with the penalty situation? I mean, if the FIA gave a 10-second penalty for Behrman for tapping Colapinto, then I don't know what is going on there. I mean, it was ridiculous. F1 Gamer, this was the lap that you said Verstappen would reach the points, and yeah, Verstappen's in 6th place. So, do you think George can win this race? Oh, for sure. Did you shout out the Patreons? No, I shall do that very, very shortly. Can you just go over who gained positions from the race start real quick? Yeah, in fact, I can just stick it up on the screen, but the main race positions gained are Verstappen's gained 11, Hülkenberg started the race in 18th, he's up 7 places, and Sainz started, of course, in 20th place, he's up into 14th. So those are the main gainers for everyone, and the main losers of position is Bottas and Perez. Bottas started in 11th, down into 17th, unfortunately, and Perez started in 12th, he's down into 16th. Oh, another donation, wow, thank you very, very much. During the aborted start, they have to wait for a green light before doing the second formation lap, but half the grid started while the lights were yellow. That's what they're investigating. Okay, I see that. That makes sense. All right. So currently up at the front, Leclerc is getting so close to overtaking Ocon here. Here they go into turn number 4, and Verstappen looks to the inside of Leclerc. Can he get that move done? He decides against it. He gets perilously close to getting that move done, but he doesn't get it done. And we've got Gasly gets ahead of Alonso. Alonso now into 10th place, and Gasly up into 9th. Do you think Max has a chance to win this Grand Prix? Probably. If there might not even need to be a safety car. He just needs to get ahead of Leclerc, Ocon, and Tsunoda. He'll close the 8-second gap up to Norris, and then yeah, if he can get those overtakes done, then he can win the race. But I'm not sure. In general, I would say the FIA should just back off and let the boys race. Know what I mean? Yeah, I do. I think the FIA, at most, they should just step in and say, give the position back or you'll get a penalty. But they just keep handing out 10-second penalties like it's nobody's business, which is makes no sense. All right. How long do Inters last? The Inters could do around about half of the race, so you can do 2 stints of the Inters. Just your first stint 35 laps, your second stint 35 laps. But the rain is predicted to fall at the same intensity till lap number 30, and then maybe it'll get more intense, maybe it'll get less intense. We're not certain. So once they get closer to lap number 30, they'll find out what the rain's going to do, and then depending on that, they will pit onto the Inters, or they'll drag it out and then go onto the slicks, maybe. Just to point out, another formation lap we completed, bringing the final lap total to 69. I was wondering how the end of the race will be. Yeah, it might be a little confusing. Maybe we'll end on lap number 69. Maybe we'll end on lap number 70. It should have reduced it. The number should have been reduced. However, maybe, I don't know exactly how it works because we've never had a formation lap delayed. You know, we have an aborted start and then you do the formation lap again. But I've never had a delayed formation lap, so I don't know how the rules exactly work with that. So maybe it'll be 70 laps. Maybe it'll be 69. But who knows? All right. Here comes Verstappen now. Verstappen still 0.6 back from Leclerc, but he's still having issues. He's taking different racing lines and everything to get close to him, but Leclerc just has the toe from Ocon ahead of him, which means that Verstappen doesn't have the pace advantage, doesn't have the slipstream advantage down the straight, meaning that it is incredibly hard for him to get close. Okay. All right, let me just read out my list of Patreons. As many of you know, I block adverts on the live stream, so you guys don't have to watch adverts while the overtake's going on. But I'm just going to give a quick shout out to my Patreons, Stefan Tomaher 46, The Code Monster, Matt, Andrew Eastwood, Andrew N, Shush, Exoteric, Tragic Fun, Alfie, AJ, and then Superhero and Giuseppe as well. And then, of course, our moderators are fantastic. MCG and OG Ninja and Kiez and Multi Ninja 888. Fantastic moderators as well. It's getting, and Remy as well. All right, so Hulkenberg's just coming over the radio saying it's getting a little bit more slippery. The drivers will be more and more careful of that. And Norris is in fact getting very close to Russell here. He hasn't been within 6-7 tenths for quite a while, but now the gap suddenly closed up. I think Russell may have made a mistake in the first sector, and that meant Norris could close up. But yeah, Norris may be able to get a move done in the next couple of laps if he can continue with this pressure. Verstappen is still 0.6 tenths back from Charles Leclerc as they exit turn number 12, and it's the same 6 tenths that it's been for the previous 5 laps now, and unable to get ahead of Charles Leclerc because that toe from Esteban Ocon is really helping him out. Okay, generally, why does Sauber not perform? Sauber, I think their car just doesn't operate very well. It's not, they just don't have the same levels of downforce that everyone else does. And because of that, they can't go quickly through the corners. And if they can't go quickly through the corners, then they're going to be slow, aren't they? Yeah, it's not an engine issue, it's not a chassis issue, I just think it's pure downforce, really. Sainz gets ahead of Hamilton. Nicely done from Sainz. He started in 20th, up into 13th. Hamilton started the race in 14th, now he's back down into 14th after gaining 3 places on the race start, losing 2 after a mistake, and now losing another position to Carlos Sainz. We are on lap number 19 of 70, and we have got George Russell in first place, 7 tenths back. 7 tenths ahead of Lando Norris. Verstappen is 9 tenths back from Charles Leclerc as they go through the middle sector. I think Verstappen at some point is going to go, I'm going to deploy all of my overtake mode and try and get ahead of Leclerc, but I don't know. Okay, another donation. Position gain is cut off. Oh yeah, I shall adjust the screen. Just give me a sec. There we go, and you guys have the extra little data on, yeah. Okay, you think Max has a chance to win this Grand Prix? I answered this question earlier, but yes. If there's a safety car, if something happens up at the top, if Norris tries to overtake Russell and they both get taken out, then yeah, certainly. So with 20 laps left of this race, there is anything that can happen. I mean, 1 hour of qualifying, the drivers did about in total 10 laps, and there were 5 crashes. So I wouldn't, anything can happen. Anything can happen in the next 50 laps of this race. Okay. Hamilton now has lost a position to Behrman. This is a race to forget for Lewis Hamilton. He did get to drive Ayrton Senna's McLaren earlier today. However, this weekend has been terrible for him. The sprint qualifying, the sprint race, the actual qualifying, the actual race, all of it's been kind of backwards for Hamilton. So yeah, something to forget. He's going over the radio saying the car's not drivable, mate, locking up, bouncing everywhere, and they've just said understood. I don't even think they can fix anything via the setup. Maybe the ride height's wrong, maybe something's going terribly wrong there, but if it's bouncing everywhere, I would have expected for wet conditions, normally they increase the ride height of the cars, but nothing of that sort is happening. And yeah. Sainz is now trying to get ahead of Colapinto. Colapinto in 12th place, and Sainz right on his tail as they exit through turn number 12. A little bit of oversteer there for Carlos Sainz, but a decent enough exit anyway. And now he's going to have the slipstream. Colapinto's got no one ahead of him to slipstream. They head down towards turn number 1. Sainz is gaining. Colapinto's looking in his mirrors left and right. Sainz darts to the inside. He sends a very, very late move, and Colapinto is just half a car length ahead to hold on to that 12th place for now. All right, back up at the front, we're still in a little bit of a train there. We've got Tsunoda, Ocon, Leclerc, and Verstappen. A nice little train that has formed, and the drivers aren't really going anywhere. Okay. So there won't be any DRS? No, until the rain is still carrying on, we will not have any DRS. So it is still wet and there is more rain, so no DRS for drivers to slipstream past or anything like that. They're just going to need pure slipstream, no DRS to help them out. Okay. Also, the race has been confirmed. Look at that; it's gone from 70 laps to 69 laps. So they've announced that to happen. It was 71 earlier, but we had 2 aborted formation laps. Oh, here comes Max Verstappen. He looks to the outside of Charles Leclerc. Can he get the move done? Leclerc to the inside, Verstappen on the outside. They are both super late on the brakes. Verstappen goes all the way to the edge of the circuit. Leclerc is being very, very feisty with him here. Elbows are out, no contact. Very fair between both drivers, but Leclerc pushed him right to the limit. That is getting very, very close here for Max Verstappen. And once again, now towards turn number 4, Verstappen, does he look to the inside? He knows that he won't be able to get the move done on Charles Leclerc. He's very, very good at braking late, and this is the closest that Verstappen got, but he was on the outside line. Leclerc had the inside and there was no chance. But going into turn number 7, Verstappen looks to the inside and Leclerc just closes the door on him, and Verstappen knows better than to stick a nose onto the inside at turn number 7, and he lives to fight for another day. Wow, this is getting feisty. Verstappen said he was squeezing me onto the white line, not leaving the car's width, and sometimes Verstappen is complaining about reasonable things. However, Leclerc was extremely fair. It was very hard racing, but very fair racing as well. He did push him all the way to the white line, but there was just enough space. The car judgment from Charles Leclerc, the awareness of where the circuit is and where his car is, where Verstappen's car is, absolutely on point and fantastically driven by Leclerc. This time again, the gap up at the front, 1.2 seconds for Leclerc to walk on ahead. So Verstappen's going to get a much better run going down into turn number 1. But he's too far back on this time. So, yeah, Verstappen's complaining a little bit, but that was, I'm not going to agree with Max on this one. It was very, very fair from Charles Leclerc. It was very, hard racing, and I would question, does Leclerc need to fight that hard as of now? He's well within his rights to do so. Okay, Sainz dropped 2 places. Yes, he did actually. Sainz was up in 13th. He's now down into 15th. I think Sainz must have made a mistake. Yeah, track limits deleted at turn number 4. I think Sainz made a mistake at 4. Went straight on into... Yeah, went very wide. and rejoined the circuit. Hamilton will be complaining, saying that he rejoined in an unsafe manner. However, I think it was all right for Sainz. But I don't know. Maybe he'll get a penalty for that. But yeah, Sainz down into 15th after going wide at turn number 4, locking up, going straight on. Yeah, the two Hasses in 11th and 12th, nicely done. And Tsunoda is chilling, actually. Tsunoda is chilling. However, for Max Verstappen, the issue is that the gap between Tsunoda and Norris is 10 seconds now. It was previously 8, and slowly but surely that will start creeping up, and that's going to start hurting Max Verstappen in the long run, because as soon as he gets past Leclerc, Ocon, and Tsunoda, he's got to chase down Norris, and if that gap keeps getting bigger and bigger, it's going to be harder and harder to chase Norris down. So we shall see what Verstappen does. Yeah, I mean, the drivers will have to pit at least once. I don't think the Inters will be able to do the entire race. However, it all depends on the weather forecast. And the longer they wait, the more accurate forecast that they get. So it makes sense to just carry on waiting and stretching out the first stint. I don't think an undercut will work hugely well or anything like that. The Inter tyres don't wear out in a similar... Well, they do wear out in a similar fashion as the softs and the mediums, but you don't get the same performance increase by going out on a fresh set. All right. Yeah. Here we are then, lap number 24 of 69. Very, very nice indeed. And Lando Norris still 8 tenths, 7 tenths off the back of George Russell. Russell being very, very consistent there and not losing any sort of time to Norris under any circumstance. He gets a bit of a bad exit out of turn number 12, which could mean Norris gets a run, but it's going to be a very late lunge if he gets that one done. Yeah, Russell I think maintains that lead. Yeah, going into turn number 1. All right, and the gaps between Tsunoda, Ocon, Leclerc and Verstappen all are 6, 7, 8 tenths, and still nowhere near enough for Verstappen to slipstream past one of the... Oh, Leclerc's into the pits. Leclerc dives into the pit lane. I don't know what Ferrari are doing here, folks. I don't know what are they doing, because the rain starts to get heavier in a few minutes' time, according to Hulkenberg's radio. He's come into the pits for a set of intermediates, I think. Another set of inters, it should be for Charles Leclerc. I don't think they're coming out on wets, and they're definitely not coming out on dry tyres. But Verstappen has been unleashed, and now he's going to chase down Ocon. All right, and they've said Norris comes over the radio to say box to overtake at some point. So Norris is also thinking about an undercut, because the drivers will have to pit. So Norris is saying, oh, if I come into the pits now, I'll be able to undercut Russell. But if he comes into the pits now, he may also come out in traffic. So that's something to be concerned about. Leclerc just... Yeah, Leclerc's out on inters as well, as expected, and he's just behind Hamilton. All right. I mean, this is the thing, though. 45 laps left of the race. I think maybe Ferrari are predicting that they're going to do another pit stop and it'll be dry by the end of the race, because it's going to be a stretch. Do 45 laps on inters. I mean, you could do 35. 45, however, maybe a little tougher. Yeah. All right. The drivers lose 20 seconds in the pit lane when they come into the pit. So 20.8 seconds or something like that, plus however long your pit stop is. And yeah, so let's just consider if Russell boxes now, he'll come out around about near Alonso. Alonso will come in. Oh, we've got a yellow. Someone's going slowly. Is that Lawson? Lawson is going slowly. He manages to keep the car under control, but loses quite a few places there, and he's down into 9th. He was originally up in 6th place, but a spin or something happened to Lawson, and he's down into 9th position. I mean, he is a rookie, fair enough. Gasly, in fact, manages to get ahead of Piastri. I think Piastri slows down a little bit too much. When Lawson crashed ahead or spun ahead of him, and Gasly capitalizes off that and gets up into 6th place. Very nicely done. Okay. Verstappen Ocon 2024 remake. Yeah, maybe. But Ocon, I don't know. How Ocon is, of course, 15 horsepower down, like the Alpine is 15 horsepower down. However, that doesn't matter as much in wet conditions. So maybe Verstappen will just be able to breeze past, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah. Here, I mean, the gap between Ocon and Tsunoda is 7/10 of a second. Gap between Ocon and Verstappen is 5/10 of a second. Verstappen, he looks to the inside, but yeah, he's a little bit too far back. He can try the switch back and get him into turn number 4, but it's going to be tricky because Ocon still has DRS, not a DRS, but a slipstream off Tsunoda, which makes it very difficult to get an overtake done. Norris is applying pressure on Russell once again. I think Russell has slowed down a little bit, and Norris is right on his tail. So we shall wait and see. There was a collision noted between Piastri and Lawson, so maybe it wasn't Lawson spinning. Maybe there was contact. I haven't seen the replay just yet, but all right. What is the championship looking like if it stays like this? Another yellow flag. That's Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg stopped at turn number 1. That's got to be a safety car unless he can get going again. I haven't seen the replay. I don't know what Hulkenberg's doing, but his car is stationary on the map. He's beached. Hulkenberg's beached. That's got to be a full safety car. They've just got to push him off the track, but it's surely a safety car at this point. They've got to call it out pretty quick now because Russell and Norris are approaching turn number 1 very, very fast. And this could end badly. The yellow flags are out. The drivers are slowing down, but Hulkenberg, is he managed to move again? No, I think he's still stuck. Yellow flags. Virtual safety car. Virtual safety car is out. Coming into the pits now would be huge. Who can come into the pits? Piastri can come into the pits. I think Piastri's diving into the pit lane. Alonso's into the pits. Everyone's coming into the pits now. Okay, the drivers have just missed the pit lane. Lando Norris, George Russell, Max Verstappen, Perez, Tsunoda. If the virtual safety car is longer than 1 lap, which I think it will be, the drivers will still be fine. However, if it's shorter than 1 lap, then it could spell trouble and it could really mix things up. But Charles Leclerc is gonna be the driver that loses out the most here. He pitted way earlier, and he did a normal pit stop, and he's gonna lose 10 seconds of time relative to everyone else. So we got Behrman into the pits, Behrman, Hamilton, Sainz, Perez. Everyone's diving into the pits now, and I suspect Verstappen and Tsunoda and Ocon will be as well. I also think that they may jump the drivers in the pits if there's a bit of a slow pit stop for Tsunoda, because Tsunoda and Lawson should come in at the same time. That means AlphaTauri are going to have to prepare for a double stop, and that could slow them down, and Verstappen couldn't get an overtake done in the pit lane. Hulkenberg is still beached. Oh no, he's not beached anymore. He's moving again. Hulkenberg's managed to get moving again somehow. He's back onto the circuit, so that could spell the end of the safety car. VSC is ending, and is Russell coming into this? Russell's into the pits. Norris follows him in. And VSC is still ending. It's track clear now. The drivers are going full throttle, but the question is, do they come into the pits? I don't know. Do they come into the pits now? Tsunoda definitely goes into the pits. Ocon continues on. Verstappen continues on. And Verstappen now... Ocon's in the lead of this race. Verstappen in second place. Russell and Norris are coming out of the pit lane. They're not going to save that much time. Maybe they would have gained 2 or 3 seconds because they would have been in the pits for 2 or 3 seconds when the VSC was still out. But... yeah, Perez onto the wets. I don't know what all of that is about. However, the rain is getting heavier. I can tell you that for certain. The rain is getting heavier, so it does kind of make sense that Perez is out on the wets. However, oh my god, the spray is enormous. Yeah, the rain has really ramped up in intensity, and who knows what happens. Piastri and Lawson, the investigation for causing a collision that is currently under investigation. Maybe the wet tyres was the right call. Tsunoda's in for the wets as well, and Lawson, what tyres is he coming out on? It's a 10-second penalty for Piastri. I mean, come on. I mean, Lawson did spin, so fair enough, but like a 10-second penalty for a little tap. Okay, I think actually that might be fair enough. Lawson lost that much time, so I guess Piastri should also lose that much time. Maybe it is intermediate, maybe it's full wet conditions here. Lawson's out on wets as well, and maybe Russell and Norris have totally screwed up here. Everyone's crawling around so slowly. Looking at these lap times, 1 minute 50s, it is most certainly wet tyre conditions. The rain has got super intense out of nowhere, and Are the drivers going to box into the pits? Ocon, what's he doing? Ocon continues on. Verstappen, though, is he going to come into the pits? I don't know. So Ocon's lap time is a 1:40, and Verstappen continues on a 1:45, but that's, of course, affected by the virtual safety car. Yeah, the weather alert says lighter rain in 3 minutes, so it might be optimal to just hang on in the intermediate tires, and then hope that the conditions get better. But there is no guarantee that they will, and the drivers on the Inters are really driving very, very slowly. The spray is ridiculous; you cannot see a thing, and well, this has got just suddenly a whole lot more interesting. Norris gets ahead of Russell. Norris down the inside. Norris gets better traction on the outside of turn number 3, sends one to the inside of Russell, and that move is done. And they were crawling along at a snail's pace here. Incredible. The first sector times, the drivers are doing 20... Safety car's out. Safety car. Full course safety car is out. And... I don't know what they're going to do here, but it's a little bit. The rain is a slight bit too heavy to continue on. I think the spray was looking very, very dangerous, as in you had zero visibility whatsoever. It's good that they called a safety car rather than a red flag, because you're going to have 20 cars driving around. They're going to clear up all of the water on the circuit, which is a very good thing. You know, Formula One cars are excellent hoovers. All of the spray that they kick up, it will remove water from the circuit and continue doing that, which is a good thing. It's much better than calling a red flag. But we'll be behind the safety car just because there is so much rain. It should decrease in 1 or 2 minutes. Maybe wet tyres are optimal, maybe they're not. I don't know where I thought the safety car was deployed and it was out on the map. Maybe it's still coming out the pit lane. Yeah, here we go. What's Verstappen going to do? Is he going to come into the pits? Is he going to stay out? It looks like he's staying out, yeah. Staying out there for Esteban Ocon and Max Verstappen. Guan Yu Zhou has already been lapped. Hulkenberg's 2 laps down because he was beached on the edge of the circuit, but he managed to get it going again. And we're on lap number 31 of 69 of this Grand Prix. And folks, what did I tell you? Do not. The race is not over. Anything can happen at this moment in time. Liam Lawson sends one to the inside of one of the Mercs. He sends one to the inside of Hamilton. Hamilton turns in. And there's contact between the 2 drivers, but Lawson manages to stay ahead, and nicely done there from Liam Lawson, actually. A solid overtake. And Lawson's on the wet, so I think he's more suited to the current conditions. Verstappen's out, yeah, he's kind of catching up to the safety car now. All right. Here we go then. What do you think is going to happen? Who is your driver of the day? I mean, I've got to say Verstappen is my driver of the day. Started the race in 17th place, now up into 2nd. Admittedly, of course, he's still yet to pit, but regardless, in fact, the safety cars might be screwing him over even more because everyone's going to be bunched up. So his aim now, once the race restarts, is to somehow hang it out on the intermediate tyres, and then once it's intermediate tyres, and then once he's built out maybe a 10-15 second gap to the drivers behind him, then come into the pits and then just have to overtake Norris and Russell on fresh inters. But Colapinto into the pits, he does a 3.3 second pit stop, and he's out in 16th place. Okay, F1 Gamer, who crashed? Nobody crashed. We brought out a safety car because the rain got super heavy for 5 minutes or so, and it got a little bit too dangerous to continue racing. However, the rain has got less intense, so the safety car will come into the pits at some point. Just not on this lap, maybe the next lap after that. Yeah. There's been an incident involving Nico Hulkenberg. It's been noted continuing on the track after receiving assistance. Hulkenberg's car was beached on the corner of on the edge of the circuit, and none of his wheels were touching the ground. I think one of the marshals may have pushed his car a little bit, and then he could get going again because his wheels would once again touch the ground. So maybe there's going to be a penalty heading his way. I'm not 100% certain about how those regulations work, because you're not meant to get assistance from the marshals. Like, the marshals aren't allowed to push you out of get your car, push you out of the gravel, and then you can continue racing. Like you have, once you're stuck, and you're not meant to get help. So we'll see what happens to Nico Hulkenberg, but he's in last place anyway. They might let the lap cars go by, yeah, they might let the lap cars go by. That will help, but we'll wait and see. Oh wait, Colapinto's had a huge crash. What has he done here? He's crashed on his own as he's just coming along the straight. And there's a double yellow flag there, and the drivers are going to go super slowly. And they've called out a red flag, and rightfully so. He's damaged his car as much as Albon has. The Williams mechanics, man, they had Logan Sargent to work with for half of the season. Now Albon has totally wrecked the car. Colapinto had a crash, damaged the car. Now Colapinto has totally wrecked the car. And the mechanics look just so totally and utterly depressed and fed up with this. And wow. And all of the Argentinian fans as well. They came from Argentina to the Brazilian Grand Prix because it's the closest one, of course, to the country. And they also look so disappointed there. And Colapinto, just as he was coming down the straight, I mean, I think he just aquaplaned a little bit. Maybe touched like a river on the circuit and went straight off into the barrier. We saw this, I think, I don't remember which race it was in Brazil. There are so many wet races in Brazil. But there was another race just like this where a driver was just going down the main straight. They lose the car totally and then straight into the barrier as they go, seemingly for no reason. And Colapinto has just done exactly that. Red flag is out. Drivers coming into the pits, and they're going to pick up all the debris and take Colapinto's car into... oh my god, folks, the red flag is going to help out the red flag is going to help out Max Verstappen here, because in the pit lane you're allowed to switch which tires you're on. Yeah, Colapinto, he stepped on the throttle too much. The car snapped out super quickly underneath him and into the barrier as he went. It wasn't even aquaplaning. It was Colapinto's fault. He got onto the power far too early. And oh my god, is that fuel spilling out? Is that fuel or hydraulic fluid or something? But there is liquid spilling out of Colapinto's car, so they're going to have to investigate that, because if there's oil slick coming down the main straight when the drivers are at 200 miles an hour, then that's pretty dangerous. Okay. So what I'm saying, because it's red flags, the Ocon will be the proper leader of this race. Verstappen they'll all be allowed to switch tires, and Verstappen will switch onto a fresh set of inters, then they'll all go to the end, and Ocon, there could be an Alpine 2-3 here. I mean, I think Verstappen will overtake Ocon. I think that's fair enough to understand, but an Alpine 2-3, that could be wild. It's a red flag. They may do a standing restart. They may do a safety car restart. I think in these sort of wet conditions, they prefer to do a safety car restart. But yeah, the red flag is out. And all weekend long, we've been talking, there's been a lot of talk about how the FIA is doing things to benefit Lando Norris. And now this time, it looks like the benefits have gone towards Max Verstappen, and it was almost like the FIA were never doing it to benefit either driver in the first place. It just happened to be luck. Yeah, all right. Thank you everyone for hitting the like button. We've hit 5,000 likes. I think the highest I've ever hit on a live stream is 10,000, but we're gonna go for 7,000 this stream. We'll see how far we'll see how close we can get. But the drivers now, they're out of the cars. It's going to take a while before we get going again, because they're going to check the barriers, going to make sure that whatever spilled out of Ola Colapinto's car isn't oil. They're going to make sure it's probably like water or hydraulic fluid or something like that, which isn't going to cause all of the other cars to spin out. And yeah, can they change tires? Yes, they can. Colapinto is fine. He's out of the car. Yeah, what a turn of events. I mean, folks, what would you rate this race out of 10? I would give it a solid 10 out of 10, including the qualifying this morning. That was fantastic. F1 Gamer, we are seeing a three-way masterclass. Yeah, it's been a pretty good race. We'll see what Norris can do. I mean, Norris will start in fourth, and he should make quick work of the Alpines. To be honest, as soon as Verstappen gets an overtake done on Ocon, Norris should get an overtake done on Gasly, and then it would be spectacular. I've got to say. Lando Norris versus Max Verstappen in wet conditions, that could be huge. So who knows what will happen. We've got 33,000 people watching the live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And I hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. And yeah, wow. All right, we've got a replay here of Lawson versus Piastri. I think Lawson just kind of turns in on Piastri. Piastri sends one to the inside. He's a little late, really, but yeah, a little late for that move from Piastri. But Lawson turns in, expecting him to kind of just be a little bit further behind. And I mean, Piastri was a very, very far way back. And Lawson kind of just turns in on him and gets spun around. So I think fair enough that you've given Piastri a 10-second penalty there. It was that was definitely not an overtake that he should have been making. All right. The incident between Hamilton and Lawson has been noted. I mean, Lawson did the exact same move as what Piastri did to him, but yeah, I don't know. Lawson got away with it, and Hamilton turned in slightly earlier. Yeah, all of the drivers now out on the circuit, and they're talking about aquaplaning and an oversteer and things like that. Max Verstappen complaining a little bit about aquaplaning and bottoming. But yeah, all of the drivers are jumping out of the car now, and we should have a message from race control soon enough to say the race will be restarted and we'll be in X position. Are we going to see a master of wet tires from Lando or Max? I think both drivers will see a mastery of them, but I think Verstappen. Verstappen's made a lot of progress this race. Norris lost the lead to Russell and then wasn't able to catch up to him. So I don't know. Right. Yeah, we're on lap number 33 of 69. We're approaching the halfway point. So now is perfect time to switch on to a fresh set of inters, which Ocon, Verstappen, Gasly will all be doing. And so will Valtteri Bottas. Bottas now up into 12th. Considering that Colapinto is out of this Grand Prix, Hülkenberg's 2 laps down. Bottas started the race in 11th, ended up down in 17th or 18th after having a terrible start to the race and the car just not being quick enough. He's now back up into 12th because this is the thing. You don't have to be the quickest, you just have to make it to the end. Colapinto, Albon, Stroll, they were all quicker than Bottas, but just because they didn't make it to the end, Bottas is ahead of them. All right, folks. The race will be restarting probably in 5 minutes' time. I can't tell you exactly because race control hasn't told me yet. But within 5 to 10 minutes, and we should be underway. The marshals are now dropping quite a bit of sand all over the circuit, I think, just to clear up the spill. I think it may have been oil or it may have been hydraulic fluid. Either way, it's not good. They can't have that on the circuit when the drivers are racing around at 200 miles an hour. So because of that, they have got a bunch of sand to absorb all of the oil. Russell said that he should have stayed out. Russell thought that he should have stayed out and maintained the lead of this race. And if he did that, he said to the Mercedes engineers saying, "Oh, I think we should stay out," but they were like, "No, come into the pits under the virtual safety car." And they couldn't have predicted this. They couldn't have predicted a crash. However, you can also look at the statistics of it, and it's kind of likely that you would get a crash, wouldn't you? So. Yeah, that's the way things are going. Oh, it's probably not sand. It's probably concrete dust. Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is. Probably concrete dust then, yeah. But they're just something to absorb all of the fluid that's spilt on the circuit. And then we'll be racing shortly. How many red flags have there been over the weekend? Honestly, I've lost count. There were 5 in quali. There's been 1 in the race. I don't know about the rest. Who crashed? Colapinto did. Colapinto crashed. Okay, road to 30K views. Oh no, we had 38,000 people watching the stream. But as soon as the red flag came out, a lot of people got a little bored and just left. Um, yeah, but everyone that's sticking along, thank you for tuning in, and yeah, I hope you're enjoying the coverage. It's very very nice to commentate to you guys. Okay, sawdust, concrete dust, yeah, something like that. Um, When's it going to start? I would love to tell you, but race control is being mysterious as ever and giving us little to no information. So they've just given enough information to say that drivers can get out of the car. So it's not going to be a quick restart by any means. But to be fair, I don't know what's taking so long because the rain has kind of eased down a little bit, so they can go out racing. The barriers have probably been repaired by this point. They haven't shown us any shots of the barriers even being repaired, so I don't think there was significant damage. I don't. Yeah, the medical car wasn't deployed when Colapinto crashed, so it wasn't that big of an impact. Um, I mean, they did need to put the concrete dust or whatever. A black flag. Hulkenberg has been black flagged. Hulkenberg's black flagged here because he got the help of a marshal to push him to get him back onto the circuit. So he's been black flagged. Black flag is disqualified. And to be fair, it is the rules. The rules is you aren't allowed to get help from a marshal. The marshal pushed the Haas car, and then after the Haas car was pushed, all four wheels touched the ground, and Hulkenberg just got going again. So he's been black flagged. They're going to have to pull him out of the race. I mean, he was 2 laps down anyway. So I don't know if that gets reset after a red flag, but yeah. Yeah, black flag for K-Mag. Okay, now they've said the instructions to push the cars into the correct order. So in the pit lane, the drivers will leave in the correct order that they should be. Yeah, essentially now they are pushing all of the cars into the correct position. So we should be going to do some racing very very shortly. Now the FIA have said, "Oh, move the cars into the correct order, so we can do some more racing." Okay, very nice. Um, yeah. Okay, yeah. So if we watch the replay of Nico Hulkenberg, he spun around and then sort of caught himself on like a little crest or a lip or something, and they essentially couldn't. None of his four wheels were touching the ground. The marshals just pushed his car backwards a little bit so he could touch all four wheels would touch the ground. He got the engine going again, and then he continued onwards. That shouldn't have happened, but yeah, now he's getting pushed back into the pits, and they're gonna start disassembling the car and start shipping it to Las Vegas. When was the last black flag? Honestly, I have no idea when the last black flag was. Ever since I've been watching Formula One, I don't remember a black flag being given out. So, who knows? What about the rain? If no cars are on the track, it could be difficult to restart the race. Yeah, it might be the rain, but I think if they take the cars out under safety car conditions to do a safety car restart, the rain shouldn't present itself as a problem because all of the cars will move all of the water away. They said that it will be a rolling restart. In fact, look at this message to Alonso. So Fernando, they said it will be a rolling restart. Therefore, we're fitting the extreme wets. I'm not sure how long this will be. So the rain has got heavier, the circuit has got wetter, and as the cars aren't driving around, the standing water has built up, and it might be optimal to actually go onto the full wets. Very nice. Can Max change his tyres? Yes, he can. All of the drivers can change their tyres. So we could see everyone coming out of the pit lane on a fresh set of wets. We could see everyone coming out a fresh set of inters. It all depends. Yeah. The last black flag was the 2007 Canadian Grand Prix where Fisichella and Massa got one. Okay, interesting. Jamlock, thank you for the €6 donation. Big love from Japan. Go Yuki. Yeah, let's. I mean, Yuki's done fantastically. He's in 6th place now. A little bit unlucky with the timing of the red flag, but still, nonetheless, a fantastic drive from him. Brilliant. Okay, Nico Hulkenberg got a black flag, folks. Nico Hulkenberg, and so he will be not taking part in this race. Oh, we've got a message from race control. Race is restarting in 10 minutes' time. Right, let me stick that up on the screen. 16. What's it going to be? 16. Oh no, it's going to be 17:02. In the UK, 17:02. Let me do that. Okay. There we go. All right. The race restarts in 9 minutes' time. Fantastic. Black flag means disqualified. The race restarts in 10 minutes. All right. Thank you everyone for tuning in. By the way, it's 28,000 people still sticking through the red flag. Very, very nice of you to start listening to the F1 Gamer podcast. We had a long 1.5 hour session of the F1 Gamer podcast yesterday when qualifying was delayed for an hour and then an hour and a half. And we're back again for more Formula One action. Do you think Ocon will actually win? Oh, no, probably not. I think Verstappen will get an overtake done within the first couple of laps and then say see you later to Ocon. I mean, Ocon's been performing fantastically in all of the qualifying sessions in the wet. He was doing brilliant. So, he has a real shot of a podium maybe. He may even be able to hold off George Russell if he plays his cards right. But, yeah, I don't think the win is on the cards for him when Max Verstappen is right behind him. Okay. How long is the red flag? We've got the timer up on the screen. 8 minutes till we get underway. Okay. It will dry up in the end. Yeah, maybe it will, but so that's why the teams are thinking, would it be optimal to go onto the wets and then... would it be optimal to go onto the wets and then have to pit later to go on to intermediates and then maybe pit later to go onto the slicks? Or do you just, decide that, we're just going to stick it out on the inters, we'll just hope that the conditions get better and then maybe they end up getting better. So, we're not certain what the teams are going to do. We'll find out as soon as they come out of the pits. I think they said to Alonso that they're going to fit the extreme wets, which means the full wet tires. And I don't know what this team radio message is to Tsunoda. He says, I've got understeer at turn 80 and oversteer at turn 90 because there are no turn 18s or 19s. There's only 15, so it can't have even been... I don't know what Tsunoda's up to there. I don't know what... probably a mistake, but yeah. Has Max changed his tyres? We will not know, folks. We'll not know until the drivers exit the pit lane, and then we'll find out which tyres everyone is on. And, I suspect everyone will be changing tyres. I just don't know, will it be the full wets or will it be the intermediates? Right. We'll have another half of this race left to go. It's taken a while, hey, isn't it? I started streaming at 3 o'clock. Now it's 5 o'clock. So we've had 5 hours. We've had 2 hours of streaming, and we've still got half the race left to go. The F1 gods are really cooking, aren't they? Okay. Is more rain coming according to forecast? Yeah, there is more rain coming, I think. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but yeah, more rain coming in the forecast, but. I think it's much lighter rain, so the drivers could get away with intermediate tyres. Don't you need to eat? No, I had lunch in between qualifying and the race. So I'll go have lunch. I'll go have dinner after the race finishes, which will probably take another 2 hours. We may get another red flag or something. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Do you play F1 24? Unfortunately, no. The most recent Formula 1 game that I've got is F1 2021. I haven't bought any of the new ones because they're not particularly good, and there's really not that much of a difference there compared to 2021. And the cars are much nicer in 2021, to be fair, as well. And I only play time trial, to be fair. So I don't really need the most recent game because I'm just driving around on time trial. You think this is the best race of the season? I don't know. I forgot so many of the races, but I think we had some fantastic. I mean, Azerbaijan was fantastic. Piastri getting chased down by Leclerc for the lead of the race. I can't even think back now, but we've had so many good races. I mean, the US Grand Prix was great. The battle between Norris and Verstappen. But I'd say in terms of total chaos and action, this race has been fantastic. So yeah, it could be definitely up there. We'll just have to wait and see. Here we go then. Verstappen started the race in 17th, up into 2nd. What a recovery it has been. We are 4 minutes now till the drivers are getting underway. The Guan Yu Zhou has asked, can I lap the safety car? Zhou is the only driver that has been lapped. So the question remains, will he be starting? Will he be getting lapped? Will he not be getting lapped? Will he be allowed to unlap himself? That is the question. All right. Verstappen doing what Hamilton did in 2021. Indeed, Hamilton did have an amazing recovery. I think in 2021 he fitted a fresh new Mercedes engine, turned it up to the max, and went overtaking in the sprint race, went overtaking in the actual race, and went on to win. So Lewis Hamilton, Verstappen doing the same that was Lewis did, but Verstappen's done it in wet conditions. All right, standing start would be funnier, so Norris can bottle it once more. Well, I think the standing start, it would be a little bit unsafe, and also the main concern for the FIA is that they don't want too much standing water on the circuit. So by doing a sort of a rolling start, what that means is the drivers will be behind the safety car for maybe 1 lap, 2 laps before they actually go racing, and those 1 or 2 laps clears up a lot of the standing water on the circuit. All right. No, George shouldn't have pitted, to be honest. No, I think George should have pitted because, George shouldn't have pitted. Is that what you... Yeah, George shouldn't have pitted. That's what George said as also. If George didn't come into the pits, then he would be in the lead of this race. And he would be on the perfect tyres. So... It's just the way that things go. Sometimes you can't predict when a red flag's going to happen. The team didn't predict it. George Russell did. And as a result, there's a bit of frustration. Okay. Also, folks, we're getting pretty close to 7,000 likes. If you haven't hit the like button, be sure to do so. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do that as well. I hope you guys are enjoying the coverage, and we'll be getting underway very, very shortly now for the race restart. Okay. Is there anything else much going on? Not really. Not much else to talk about. I'm going to have a quick sip of water because my throat is really starting to hurt. I think it's a total of more than 8 hours of commentary that I've done this week so far. My throat is really starting to take a toll. Ooh, we've had some interesting messages over the radio. Science has said, how are we doing on fuel? Can we waste as much fuel as possible still? This is something that happens in wet conditions. Guan Yu Zhou has been sent out first, so he can unlap the pack. So he's going to be rolling around and come back to the back of the pack, and then we'll have the race restart. What was I saying? Carlos Sainz. In wet conditions, the drivers spend a lot less time at full throttle, and because of that, a lot less fuel gets used in the cars. The drivers spend a lot more time on the brakes. They need to slow down a lot more for the corners. So a lot less fuel gets used in the car. So I think Carlos Sainz and maybe Ferrari, just in case, what they do is because you have to prepare for the worst case scenario. So in effect, what they do is they fuel the car up for about 50% of the race being wet and 50% of it being dry. So they know from the weather radar that it's going to be dry for it's going to be wet for at least the first half of the race. They don't know for certain about the second half. So They add in fuel considering that they're going to be spending a lot more time on the throttle because it'll, of course, be dry conditions. But now, since it's been wet for more than half the race, it looks to be wet for the remainder of the race. Carlos Sainz can burn as much fuel as you want. There's going to be no lifting and coasting whatsoever. I think most of the other drivers will be doing that as well. No fuel issues. That's one thing that I can say for certain. Okay, the race will be restarting very, very shortly. The track is clear. Guan Yu Zhou will be making his way to the back of the pack. I don't know if he comes into the pits and then comes back out again, but yeah, not long now, 10 seconds, and the safety car will do one lap and then it'll come in, and it'll be a rolling restart. All right, here we go. The Aston Martin safety car leads everyone off. All of the mechanics have made their way away from the car. And the pit lane should be green any second now. There we go. The time is in fact ticking down, and here they come out of the pits. Very nice. What does the radar look like for the second half? I think it just looks like light rain to the end. It might dry up really like right at the very end, but I don't think it will because the sun isn't coming out. Like I think the rain might stop towards the end. However, the sun's not coming out, so the circuit isn't going to dry up. Are there mandatory pit stops? No, there aren't. And when there are wet conditions, you do not have to do mandatory pit stops. You just have to get to the end of the race. So, yeah. You don't have to use 2 different tyre compounds or come into the pits or anything like that. You can use 2 sets of inters and go to the end. You don't even have to come in for the pits. All right. Yeah, we're getting pretty close to 7,000 likes. Also, we're getting pretty close to 116,000 subscribers, and that would be fantastic if we could hit that. All right, rolling restart procedure. The safety car is there just ahead of Ocon. It's not showing up on the screen for some reason, but the drivers are complaining about visibility. We're seeing quite a bit of this, but yeah, they're saying the visibility is pretty shocking, but they're saying it's okay for now. The drivers will just deal with it. Everyone is out on intermediate tyres. Even though the wets may be slightly more optimal, the drivers don't want to compromise, having to come into the pits again. That could be a very, very big problem. And because of that, they are on the wets. They come over the radio to Science comes over the radio saying, "Ricky, these are not new inters. Which inters are these?" I mean, according to the data, they are new intermediate tires. They've been used, I think, once, according to what the data says, but we don't know. We'll see what Carlos Sainz's engineer has got to say. The safety car now coming towards the pit lane. We're having the rolling restart. Verstappen will only be allowed to overtake Esteban Ocon once he goes past the start-finish line. Ocon will be playing some games here and there. Verstappen will be getting ready to get onto the throttle as soon as possible, but Ocon is weaving around. This is the first time he'll be doing a restart from the front, at least in Formula 1. He may have done it in junior formulas, but the first time in Formula 1. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 3. No way someone's crashed under safety car. Oh my God, Oliver Behrman. Is that Behrman? Yeah, Behrman's crashed and Zhou have crashed, and we've got what? I mean, they're back onto the circuit now, which is fine, but how have they done that, man? Like, okay. And going into turn number 1, both of the Alpines retain their positions, and Verstappen and Lando will have to get some overtakes done later on. I mean, Norris is under pressure from Russell behind him, and he's got to try and overtake Gasly ahead of him. So it's going to be a little bit difficult for him. However, for Verstappen, he's just got Ocon ahead of him, and Ocon isn't all that quick in a straight line. Neither is Pierre Gasly. So it should be a fairly straightforward overtake for Verstappen as they go through. Oh, someone's gone wide. Is that Norris going wide through turn number 4, or is that Piastri? Norris is wide. Norris went wide, and he loses the position to Russell. Oh my God, a mistake there from Norris on the race restart, and it's not looking good. It is not looking good there. Leclerc's onto the tail of Norris now, and he's now between... Oh, Leclerc goes wide as well. And Piastri tries to get past him, but Leclerc just manages to hold on to the inside line. Wow, everyone's going off here. The intermediate tyres are not the tyres for these conditions. It is definitely the wets, but the drivers do not want to come into the pits for one extra occasion. I mean, Verstappen's 2 seconds off the back of Ocon. He knows that he might as well play it safe for now. He can overtake Ocon in 5-10 laps when the conditions are slightly better. But yeah, mistake from Norris, a mistake from Leclerc, and Norris loses position. Leclerc just manages to hold on and defend this one. All right, I've got to say, fantastic Grand Prix this has been. We are halfway through. We've got 35 laps completed, 35 laps remain, and the visibility is terrible. Coming down the main straight, I see none of the cars. I see one Mercedes peeking out of the distance. I'm not sure how any of the drivers are seeing anything in their mirrors as well. But Sainz gets ahead of Bottas as they go through turn number 1, and nicely done. Everyone makes it through lap number 1 of the restart without binning it. You know, Behrman and Zhou binned it before the lap started, but you know the actual lap itself, they managed to make it through. We'll have Liam versus Perez round number 2. Yeah, Lawson in 11th, Perez in 12th. That will be interesting to watch how that goes down. Lawson quite easily gave way to Max Verstappen, and we'll see how he does. See what he does to Sergio Perez. I think Christian Horner had a word with him after, saying that you shouldn't be doing this. Or I mean, he had a word with Lawson. We don't know what he said, but we're thinking that maybe he said, "Oh, you can't be doing this, Liam. You can't be holding up the main Red Bull team." But we'll wait and see if his actions change and does he let Perez by or what. Okay, gap up at the front, 2.7 seconds. Ocon is leading this race by a pretty significant chunk here. I don't know, Verstappen at some point might start to catch up, but I don't think Verstappen's particularly driving aggressively now to try and catch up. I think he knows that his main focus is to build the gap to Ocon, build the gap to Norris. If Verstappen can continue driving quickly and not be impeded by Ocon, then it'll be fine. I mean, look at the last lap. Ocon was 1 second quicker. I don't know where he's gaining all of this time, to be fair. In the first sector, he's half a second quicker in the first sector alone. Maybe he's taking more risk going over the curbs. But, yeah, nicely done there from Ocon. He's building that gap up. All right. I don't mind if Ocon wins. Yeah, Ocon has got a win in the past. You know, in 2021 in Hungary, he got that win, and when Fernando Alonso did some fantastic defensive work for him. And maybe this could be win number 2 for Esteban Ocon, but we've still got half a race left to go. You know, who knows? There could be 3 safety cars and 1 red flag and 2 virtual safety cars. Oh, someone goes wide with spin, and that's Oliver Behrman. He just misses the barriers. He might be able to reverse out of this. This front wing is fine. He was chasing one of the Ferraris, I think, and he gets it into reverse, and now he's just got to get it into first gear, spin the car around, and he should be fine. All right, yellow flags are out, but Behrman gets going again. Oh, that was very nearly a virtual safety car. Just as I was saying, anything can happen. Behrman spins out as he was trying to overtake Carlos Sainz. And yeah, he just got in the dirty air. The car loses grip, and he just taps the barriers, gets away with it, and is now in last place. Ooh. All right, 34,000 people tuned into live stream. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Very much do appreciate it. If you are enjoying the coverage, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. And yeah, let's wait and see how this goes then. We have got we've got Ocon 3 seconds ahead of Verstappen in the first sector again. This time, Verstappen actually sets the same first sector time as Ocon. So I think Verstappen will be catching up soon enough. Yeah, I don't think he's going to let Ocon run away with this one. All right. We've had 4 drivers end up out of the race. We've had 3 drivers DNF, 1 driver get black flagged. And we've still got half the race left to go. Maybe another 4 DNFs are coming our way. Who knows? Who will it be? Will it be Max Verstappen with a DNF? Will it be Norris? Will it be Bottas or Zhou or Tsunoda? Who knows? Still 35 laps to make a mistake and end up into the barriers, or 32 laps. But the tyres now, the conditions are getting much more intermediate. Previously, when the race restarted, it was wets. It was most certainly wets. But now, immediately, we're getting towards intermediate conditions, and it made sense why the teams made that choice. We've got Hamilton trying to overtake Tsunoda, going into turn number 1, but Hamilton just a little bit too far back, and the visibility is really becoming an issue. Oh, yellow flag, someone's going slowly. Is that Behrman again? And I don't know what's going on, but he managed to keep it on the circuit, and he's keeping going. And Behrman's now turning into a moving chicane. Things aren't going well, and also as the tire temperature dipped, once you drive over the grass a little bit, your tire temperature drops rapidly, and if you're not in the optimal window, then your grip condition keeps on getting worse, and then you keep on getting slower, and your grip condition gets worse, and you get slower, and it's kind of a horrible cycle, really. So yeah, Behrman's gonna have to focus up for the next 10-15 laps while he gets his tire temperatures up into the correct range. Alpine in the Constructors' Championship would be fantastic. Currently in first and third place, and the gap between Russell and Gasly is 3 seconds. It doesn't look like that's reducing anytime soon. If we have a look at as it stands, the constructors' standings, Alpine would jump up from. Oh wait, it's not actually updated. Apologies. I'll get the calculations towards the end of the season. Not the end of the season, the end of the race. But 31 laps remain of this Grand Prix, and Verstappen has now started to close up a little bit. He goes quicker in the first sector compared to Ocon, and he's gonna try and make some progress. But the Alpine's surprisingly good in wet conditions. I don't know. I didn't think this was particularly expected. I mean, we know the Alpine is down on horsepower, and in wet conditions, horsepower doesn't matter too much, so that makes sense to me. But up here in first and third and managing to match the pace of Norris and Russell, that is something totally unexpected. So their engine must be really terrible if in wet conditions they can end up in first and third. The engine must be super bad. What do you think about the 2026 regs? I mean, the regs are all right. The active aero will be interesting. I think the car is still too big, too heavy, but it'll be interesting to see what Adrian Newey can do. Safety. Why are they saying safety car? Safety car, double yellows, and safety car. Safety car's out. Sainz has crashed, and the safety car is coming out. Oh my God. Yeah, anything can happen here. And Carlos Sainz into the barrier as he goes. The mechanics worked all so hard to repair Carlos Sainz's car, but at the exact same place where Oliver Behrman spun out, Carlos Sainz spins out as well. And he's out of the race. Front wing damage, rear wing damage, and he's just sat there. He's going to get out of the car soon enough. But very, very frustrated indeed. And now we're up to 5 DNFs. Wow. All right. A whole lot of chaos. The safety car's back out. It's queuing up. Everyone's queuing up now behind behind Esteban Ocon. And now this is the second attempt. Now Ocon will have. Now the tires are under the conditions are very much intermediate conditions. That should mean. Sainz has just got it moving again. We're just watching the replay here. Sainz, he goes on and hits the brakes. He hits the brakes, and his rear tires are on the white line. The rear tires are on the white line, and he spins around. He hits the brakes while he's on the white line, and the rear tires just can't take it, and he does a nice 360. And there you go. In fact, you see the message to George Russell saying that was braking on the white line for Sainz. So the drivers do have to be extremely careful here. You are 30 centimeters too wide, too far to the left, 30 centimeters too far to the right, and your car just spins out. Oh wow, we've hit 7,000 likes. That's incredible. Maybe you can hit 10,000. I mean, the record for the channel is 10,000 likes on a single live stream. So why not try it? 10,000 likes. Okie dokes. Let's wait and see if we can do it. But yeah, safety car conditions for now. The marshals are just lowering the crane onto Carlos Sainz's car, and it'll be picked up in no time, really. We'll probably have 3 or 4 laps behind the safety car, and then we'll go racing. And what I was saying earlier is now, because the conditions are full intermediate conditions, they're not wet conditions like they were on the actual race restart, it means that Verstappen will have a much better chance to attack Ocon. He doesn't have to close up the 3-second gap. It's just been helped. He's been helped out by the safety car, and he's now going to be right on his tail once the safety car ends. So Let's see what happens. I mean, the Drive to Survive episode for this race is going to be mind-blowing. It's just going to be so incredible. And also, folks, if it ends up like this, Alpine will jump up 40 points in the constructors. They'll go up directly into 6th place. And they're currently, I think, in 8th. Is it? No, Alpine are in 9th. And if they finish as they do now, they go directly up into 6th. So a huge jump in the Constructors' Championship if Alpine can finish like this. I think Verstappen will get close and overtake Ocon, but it might be a 2-3, which could be mind-blowing. All right, we've got 34,000 people tuned into live stream. That is incredible, and I hope you guys are enjoying this race. This one is definitely going down in the history books as one of those special races. All right. Oh, we've got a message from Piastri. The rain has stopped, and there is no more rain on the radar at the moment, and no more rain expected. Both those messages have gone out to Lando Norris and Piastri. Let's keep an eye out on what the other teams are saying to their drivers in terms of the rain. But that could be interesting. If there's no more rain forecast, then maybe towards the end we see slick tires. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I probably think that they're just going to try and wear down the intermediates till they turn into interslicks rather than actually pit and go onto slick tyres, because you do lose 20 seconds in the pit lane, which is quite significant. But we shall wait and see what happens. All right, tell Esteban to defend like a lion. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be many Norris fans hoping for that. But Norris now he's made a mistake on the previous restart. Went wide at turn 4. He lost the position to Russell, so now he's got even more work to do. He's got to overtake Russell, then Gasly, and then he can catch up to Verstappen. And that might be a little bit too much to ask in these conditions. This race is a fever dream. Honestly, a fantastic Grand Prix. Haven't had anything like this for quite a while. It's been a very, very long Grand Prix as well. Yeah. All right, the track is clear, and yeah, we should be good. Okay. The track is clear. The safety car is ending this lap, folks. Safety car in this lap. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. We are in for another round of racing here in Brazil. I think this has now turned into my favorite circuit. It used to be Suzuka. However, that might switch, and we might have Brazil as my favorite circuit. Yeah. Oh. All right. Lap number 42 of 69, and the safety car's at turn number 14. It'll be making its way into the pits. They've said recharge off for the restart. They're going full attack mode from Esteban Ocon, and fair enough. And here they come out at turn number 14. Ocon is weaving around. Verstappen's weaving around. He's getting the burnouts ready. And Verstappen now right on Ocon's tail. He's got to make sure that he's on the dry line here, but he's also got to make sure that he could be as close as possible as he is to Ocon. The dry line will give him the most traction. Lando Norris is extremely wide here. He's all over the wet part of the circuit. That's not going to help him in terms of traction. And here comes Esteban Ocon. Ocon has gone, and now they are underway for racing. And Russell goes side by side with Gasly into turn number 1. This is going to be super good. And Verstappen's down the inside into turn 1, and one of the McLarens is wide. Is that Lando Norris? Norris is wide into 6th position, and he cuts the corner, and he just comes alongside out of his teammate. I think Norris lost the position to Piastri there. Yes, he has. Verstappen's up into 1st, and Leclerc's up into 4th, gets ahead of Russell. Piastri ahead of Norris. Verstappen is our new race leader. Norris has messed up another race restart. He's gone now. He lost the position to Russell on the previous one. Now he's lost the position to his teammate, and Verstappen's in the lead of this race. We've got the Alpines in 2 and 3, and wow. Yeah, this is going to be good, and then we've got the Alpine side by side. Oh, they go wide, they go wide. One of them goes. Russell goes wide. Hamilton goes wide. Lawson up into ninth, um, and Perez is under pressure. Perez, in fact, loses the position. There is so much overtaking going on, I can't even describe what's happening. Hamilton swoops around the outside of Oliver Behrman. Nicely done there from Hamilton. Behrman tries to hold it around the outside of 12. What a move from Oliver Behrman. And really, really good racing here. And one of Aston's has gone wide. Is that Alonso? I think it must be Alonso, because the Stroll's out and Alonso goes deep into turn number 12. The bump on the braking point must have caught him out, and it's yellow flags there. It's not going to be a virtual safety car because Alonso will make it back onto the circuit. And Verstappen leads the way, and he's 1.6 seconds ahead of Ocon, and Leclerc isn't even focused on catching Gasly. Leclerc's much more focused on the battle behind him, where George Russell is trying to overtake him. What happened to Tsunoda? I think Tsunoda had a bit of a, I think, contact or something happened there. Tsunoda got swarmed essentially, and he got 2 or 3 drivers that overtook him super quickly. Yeah, unfortunately, he was having such a good race up until this point, and then he's out of. He's down into ninth, now down into 8th, and is just one position out of his teammate. Will there be a chance that George could still win this? Well, I don't know. I don't think so. He's got to overtake Leclerc and then Gasly and then Ocon, and Russell didn't have the pace to overtake Norris. Russell barely held off Norris, I'd say. So overtaking Leclerc might be a bit of a tall order. We'll see what he can do though. If he can overtake Leclerc, then he could try to go for the win, but Verstappen might run away. That's the problem that he might have, because the gap's already up to 2 seconds, and we've only had 2 laps of racing. So who knows how big that gap Max will be able to make. Okay, 45 laps of 69. We have 25 laps left to go, and George Russell is trying his hardest to get ahead of Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris. Are they going to swap positions at McLaren? I think at this point the championship is kind of over at this point. Even if Norris finishes in 6th instead of 7th, does it make sense to swap positions? I don't think so. Let me know what you think in the chat. But yeah, it's like at this point with 3 races left of the season, if it finishes like this, Norris in 6th and Verstappen in 1st, I think that's championship basically over. I think Piastri should be allowed to fight. There was a chance at the sprint race, if Verstappen had a bad race this weekend, then it would make sense to swap positions. But I think at this point in time, it doesn't make much sense. So, has Piastri completed his 10-second penalty? Actually, I don't think he has, because he hasn't come into the pits. So, no. I don't think Lawson will have a 10-second penalty to serve. Piastri will have the 10-second penalty to serve. Apologies for that. So yeah, Piastri, that will account to that'll drop him down towards the end of the race. Actually, I totally forgot about that. Right, fastest lap of the race there from Max Verstappen. That gap, which was 2 seconds, it is now 3 seconds promptly every single lap. Max Verstappen will be running away with this race. So if Leclerc or Piastri or Norris, if anyone wants to win the race, they've got to get a move on. But Alpines are currently in 2-3. Oh, they've said swap positions to Piastri. What are you doing, man? The championship's over at this point, surely. Maybe if Verstappen DNFs now, but I guess it's never mathematically over until probably the second to last race of the season, but still, they've swapped positions. We'll see what Norris can do. If Norris can get ahead of Leclerc, then fair enough, but if not, then I think they should swap them back at the end of the race. Right. Yeah. We are on... Let's see, what more battles have we got? Oh yeah, Lawson's defending against Perez. That'll be interesting to see if he continues fighting very, very hard. Lawson didn't fight very hard against Verstappen when Verstappen overtook him, so we shall see. But Lando here gets a great exit, and he's looking to actually get an overtake done on Leclerc. The gap is only half a second as they start the straight, and he's going to be gaining with the slipstream. He's looking extremely racy, and he's deploying all of the overtake button that he can. He emerges to the left-hand side, to the inside line, but he's too far back, and without the assistance of DRS, getting that overtake done is going to be very, very tough. The Ferrari's good in a straight line. Leclerc has a bit of a twitch, but it's not going to be enough, I think, going into turn number 4. In fact, it might be. Leclerc goes defensive. Norris even looks to the inside line, but Verstappen... Oh my god, I've totally messed up all my words there. But Leclerc secures the inside line. There's no chance Norris is getting past. And yeah, they'll have to fight. They'll have to fight on the next lap. Here we go then. Oh, we're on 8,000 likes. We're getting very close to our 10,000 like target, 10,000 like record. I think the qualifying stream broke all records. I had the most number of viewers that I've ever had on a quali stream. I've had the most number of likes on a quali stream. So this could be the stream, folks. This could be the stream. All right, Leclerc has been noted for rejoining unsafely. I don't know exactly when that happened. I think it might have just been on the safety car restart. But you could probably say Norris was also rejoining unsafely when he went off the track and then charged back onto the circuit. Maybe you could say that, but I don't know. The FA are having a look at what Charles Leclerc did. Maybe he'll get a penalty, maybe not. Oh, Leclerc did something at turn number 4. All right. Verstappen up at the front. The gap is 3.7 seconds. Purple in the first and second sector. Not purple in the final sector because he probably doesn't have a toe. But regardless, it's looking good. All right. Let's see. What else is going on? Leclerc rejoined unsafely after he made a mistake. He lost a position to Russell and was originally way closer to Leclerc. Okay, right. I guess I didn't see that bit. But fair enough then. If Leclerc's done that, then he might as well be investigated. I think, well, yeah, Norris went off the track at turn number 2, missed the corner, and then he rejoined. It wasn't, I don't know if it was unsafe or not, but he was just kind of rejoined onto the circuit. But that's kind of what you meant to do as well. He wasn't going to wait for all 20 drivers to go by and then join in last position. He was just going to go back onto the track. So I think fair enough, actually. We'll see. I don't know. I don't think that anything should come of it, and he should get a penalty. Since he might be overtaken by Lando Norris on this occasion. Oh, no. Lando Norris is a bit of a bad exit there, and Leclerc managed to hold on for this lap. There'll be 21 more good exits that Leclerc needs out of turn number 12 if he wants to hold on to this race, if he wants to hold on to 5th place. Yeah. All right. Wow, we've got 35,000 people. Here we go. Lando's wrong pit timing took away his race. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people got caught out now. Russell got caught out, so did Leclerc, so did Norris. All of the drivers that have currently done 3 pit stops on the side on your screen did get caught out. Only Bottas, Gasly, Ocon, and Verstappen didn't get caught out. So it's just the way things go, isn't it? Sometimes luck's on your side, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes the FIA makes a decision that works in your favour, sometimes it doesn't. What can I say? All right, Verstappen purple in the first sector, another fast lap of the race. Look at that gap, 4.6 seconds. He's running away with this one. Wow. How did Russell pass Leclerc? I think Leclerc went... I think Leclerc went wide at one of the corners, and that's what it was. I'm not 100% certain, but... Is it still raining? No, the rain has stopped. The circuit is getting drier and drier. However, there is... there's no more rain. But the sun hasn't come out either, so that means the circuit isn't drying up very quickly, and we'll probably just have intermediate conditions all the way to the end of the race. Yeah. Yeah, definitely no more rain. I think the last message, the message that we got from the McLaren radio said no rain, and then the Sauber radios have just now said no rain as well. Oh, Piastri. Is he looking to re-overtake Norris? He's purple in the final sector, is Piastri. That would be funny. They told him to swap positions, and then he sends a move down the inside. Do you reckon George can make the podium? I don't know, actually. He's closing up to Gasly, and we know the Alpine isn't all that quick in a straight line, so there is a chance. There is a very small chance that... Actually, not a very small chance. I think there's a pretty significant chance that Russell could get ahead of Gasly, and... yeah. We shall wait and see. Piastri is catching Norris. Who else? Would you vote Max Verstappen or Gasly or someone else for driver of the day? Oh, I don't know. Gasly's had a fantastic race. He's went up 10 places, but Verstappen, though, starting the race in 17th and then managing to make your way up into first. Admittedly, he did have a beneficial, strategy thing that went his way, but regardless, even just for the opening lap of the race, gaining 6 positions on the opening lap, I think you just deserve driver of the day for that alone. Yeah. All right. So they're going to start picking up the pace now to Pierre Gasly. They've told him what Esteban Ocon's previous lap time was. They've said Esteban Ocon's last lap was 22.7 and yours was 23.0. So start speeding up, please. Otherwise, George is going to catch you. That's essentially what they're implying there. And Max Verstappen is setting fastest lap upon fastest lap. And the gap's now up to 6 seconds. Incredible. Okay, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. My throat is really starting to feel the effects of 8 hours of commentary. Yeah, I'll be back in just a sec. Oh, someone's gone wide. Is that Piastri or is that Norris? Piastri makes a mistake out of turn number 12. And Tsunoda's now actually Tsunoda's right on Piastri's tail as they now go towards the main straight. Tsunoda looks to the outside, Piastri to the inside. They're going to be side by side into turn number 1. Who's it going to be that gets the lead? Piastri just manages to hold on. Tsunoda's though trying for the switchback as they go into turn number 3. Tsunoda, is he going to take the outside line? No, he's right on Piastri's tail. He's got the slipstream. He's gaining, and Piastri made a mistake at turn number 12. That corner is very, very difficult. There's a bump on the braking point, and that's why we saw Alonso go off. That's why we've seen Behrman make mistakes. Piastri's made one this time, and now it's now the battles have been split up. It's Leclerc versus Norris, Russell versus Gasly, and Piastri versus Tsunoda. And Verstappen and Ocon are out there in the lead in first and second place. Yeah, a front lock up there for Oscar Piastri. He lost about 3 seconds worth of race time, and Tsunoda's right on his tail now. Okay. Here we go. Lap number 53 of 69. 17 laps remain of this race. The lap times are around about a 1 minute 22. So we're not going to run out of race time or anything like that. We will go and complete the entire 69 laps of the race. And yeah. F1 Gamer, is there any way to make the circle smaller? Unfortunately, well, there is, but the problem is if I make them too small, then people who are watching on their mobile phones won't be able to read them. So, there's a balance to be had between people who are watching on their TV and laptops and people who are watching on their phones. So I think this is an all right balance. Sometimes it's a little difficult, Lawson and Perez, they're overlapping, but you can have a look on the timing screen on the left and you can see that it's Perez. Oh, right. Gasly, purple in the first sector. He's really started to pick up the pace now. He knows that he's got to start speeding up, because as soon as Russell gets within a second, the slipstream will start helping him down the straight, and then that just sucks him in closer and closer. So the aim for now Gasly is to build out that gap and keep it greater than 1 second. That's for certain. Are we going to see Max gap 20 plus seconds? Well, it's up to 7 seconds now, and we've got 16 laps left of this race, so there is a chance. It depends on the pace of Ocon, really. If Ocon doesn't speed up too much, then if Ocon slows down a little bit, then Verstappen can definitely build a 20-second gap. I mean, the gap to Norris is 20 seconds, and that's his championship rival. Do you think we'll end on slicks? I think we'll end on interslicks, as in the intermediate tyres will have been worn down so much that they've turned into slick tyres rather than the drivers actually switching onto the slicks. Yeah. I was not here. What happened with Alonso? Alonso misjudged his braking point at turn 12, went straight on into the grass. I think he locked up and then went off, had an off track excursion for about 30 seconds and then was back onto the circuit. We've got Perez trying to overtake Liam Lawson for 9th place while his teammate is up there in 1st. But yeah, Lawson giving Perez a bit of a hard time here to get past. And Perez has got Hamilton behind for company as well. So Perez not just looking forward, he is looking behind in his mirrors as well. We shall wait and see what he can do. Game, any idea on Lando's investigation? No, that investigation is happening at the end of the race. The investigation about the start procedure. I don't think much of that will, I don't think much of anything's going to happen because of it. But yeah, it should be fine. It should be fine, really. We'll wait and see. 55. We're on lap number 55 of 69, and Verstappen has pulled a 7.7 second gap. He's driving brilliantly in these wet conditions. The rain has stopped. The circuit is getting drier and drier, and Perez looks to the inside here, and he sends one right down the inside of Lawson. They get so close. They touch. In fact, they touch going through turn number 3, and Perez now under pressure from Hamilton. Hamilton taking the outside racing line that we saw Max Verstappen take on the opening lap of the race. Unfortunately, it hasn't worked for Hamilton this time, and there's contact between Perez and Lawson holds on to that 9th place. He is fighting very, very hard for this, and and Hamilton slips down the inside of Perez. Perez gets a bad exit out of turn number 4, gets a whole bunch of wheel spin, and Hamilton down the inside he goes. Thank you very much for that position. And Hamilton into 10th, and Lawson and Perez loses a position down into 11th, outside of the points. Through goes Hamilton. Unbelievable stuff. That is, that would be a great way to put it, wouldn't it? All right. Here we go. What else is going on? I mean, Hamilton's now going to try and overtake Lawson. We'll see. Lawson will give him a hard time. Lawson's been giving everyone a hard time. He does not care whichever car you're in, whichever team you're from. The only driver that he sort of yielded to was Max Verstappen. And he kind of knows that, because if he gets in the way of Max Verstappen, there's going to be angry phone calls from Christian Horner and Helmut Marko. So yeah, apart from Max Verstappen, Lawson is just holding everyone up. Norris should let Piastri past. The World Driver Championship is completely gone. Yes, if Piastri does catch up to the back of Norris, I think that would be the ideal thing to do. The World Driver Championship is completely gone. If Verstappen comes across the line and he wins the race, and there's no, Verstappen makes a mistake and DNFs the race or anything like that, then it would make total sense to swap the positions back and give Piastri the extra points, because he was quicker in the sprint. He deserved the points in the sprint. I mean, the team was telling Piastri to slow down in the sprint race to give Norris DRS. Now that was a team game to ensure that the McLarens could hold a 1-2, but then afterwards the switching, of course, Piastri conceded some points there, so it would be fair for McLaren to switch them back, because if Verstappen wins this and Norris ends up in 6th or 7th, the championship is most certainly over. Right, fastest lap of point available today. Yes, it is available. However, I think Max Verstappen will be the only driver getting it because he has so much clean air ahead of him, no visibility issues, and he's just been driving so quickly for quite a while now. Yeah, and I think every lap that he's set has been a fastest lap of the race. I can't tell, but if your last lap is purple and your best lap is purple, that means he set a fastest lap on the previous lap. So, who knows? F1 Gamer. The only reason Norris won all of those races is because there wasn't a safety car. Otherwise, he would have bottled it. Well, I don't know. I don't know about that, but I think Norris has overcome his bad race starts. Had one good race start, but I don't know. I don't know exactly. He's had a bad race. To be fair, wet safety car restarts isn't a thing that drivers commonly practice. So I mean, we saw Leclerc made a mistake. Leclerc's mistake was just small enough that he managed to hold on and stay ahead of Piastri. Norris's mistake was just a little bit too big, and he ended up losing a position. Yeah, Russell here, right on the back of Gasly. The gap is 1 second. Gasly's done a fantastic job maintaining it so far, but with now 9 laps left to go, Russell just dips under the 1 second mark, and I have a feeling in the final couple of laps of this race, there's going to be a battle for third place on the podium. Yeah, another fastest lap of the race there from Max Verstappen. I mean, he's not particularly stopping, is he? F1 Gamer, who's your favourite driver? My favourite driver is Sebastian Vettel. I know some of you may think that I'm a Max Verstappen fan, or some of you may think I'm a Norris fan, but no. Seb Vettel's my favourite driver. And, yeah. All right. Let's see what else is going on. Who do you think is your driver of the day? I mean, I've got to give it. I mean, is it Max Verstappen? Is it Pierre Gasly? It's between those two, surely. I wouldn't give anyone else sort of any sort of thought on driver of the day. Verstappen's done a fantastic job. I mean, look at that gap. He's pulled a 9 second gap. Is it another fastest lap of the race? No, not on this occasion. Or is it? Is it? I'm not sure. Actually, it is. It is another fastest lap of the race for Max Verstappen. He's just doing it again, man. Alonso with the overtake. Yeah, Alonso gets an overtake done on Zhou. I mean, he's going to end up in probably 14th, maybe. It's going to be difficult to catch up to Bottas with 11 laps left. So, unfortunate there for Fernando Alonso. I think Stroll, driver of the day. Stroll, considering that he crashed before the race even started and then caused a whole big fiasco by delaying the race start by 10 minutes. That would be, maybe Stroll gets driver of the day. Piastri quickest in the final sector. I have a feeling Piastri's going to catch up to Norris sometime soon. Norris not getting anywhere close to overtaking Leclerc. And Russell also. That gap is just hovering 1.1 seconds. It doesn't seem to get any lower. Hamilton now trying to overtake Lawson into turn number 4. Lawson goes defensive. Hamilton takes the outside line and then backs out of it because Lawson is just a little bit too far ahead. Right. Very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, fantastic race so far. All right, here comes Max Verstappen across the start-finish line again. Is it going to be another fastest lap? Yes, it is. Once again, Verstappen sets the fastest lap of the race. Talking of Seb, Max is going to get four world titles in a row. Exactly, yeah. I've already got the line that Crofty says at the end of the season. I've already got a line prepared in case Max Verstappen wins. I haven't got one prepared in case Norris wins, but it looks like I'm not going to need it. I've as a commentator, I think about these things kind of often. I've got the line prepared. I can't tell you right now because that would spoil it. But all right, here comes Lewis Hamilton. He looks to the inside, but Lawson defending like an absolute beast. He's putting his car at the right place at the right time and giving Hamilton a run for his money as they now head up towards turn number 4. Lawson goes super defensive this time. He knows Hamilton's closer, and Hamilton, he looks to the inside, but once again, a little bit too far back, and he has to play the safe game and back out of this one. I've got to give props here to Lawson and Behrman. Both drivers have done a fantastic job, considering they are both rookies. Both of them haven't driven all of this season, and this is the first time they're in wets. I mean, they've had their issues. Lawson had a bit of a spin when he had contact with Piastri. Behrman had an issue or two on the lap to the grid. I think under safety car conditions as well, went a bit deep at turn 12. But another fastest lap of the race from Verstappen. Wow, I mean, Max Verstappen is just giving out those fastest laps. just showering them everywhere. But yeah, a huge props to Lawson and Behrman. They've done fantastic drives in very treacherous conditions where you've had experienced drivers like Sainz, like Hulkenberg, like Stroll and Albon, DNF. Oh, sorry, well, not Albon. Albon didn't take part in the race, but Stroll, Hulkenberg, and Sainz, they've all DNF'd. We've seen Alonso make mistakes. So fantastic job from those from those guys. Will Max win the World Drivers' Championship this race? No. However, the championship gap will get so big that it becomes kind of unfeasible. Like, they're going to need 2 Lando Norris race wins and 2 Max Verstappen DNFs for the championship to become close again. So it kind of makes the probability even smaller. The highlights are going to be long. Oh, folks, we are definitely going to need an extended highlights. They need an extended highlights for qualifying, to be honest. The qualifying session should have been 1 hour. It ended up being 1 hour, 45 minutes. The race is coming up. Oh, Verstappen, this is the first time he hasn't set a fastest lap in about 5 laps in a row. He's 5 milliseconds short of setting a fastest lap. Oh, this is it. Max Verstappen is washed, and the race is over. No, I don't know what's happened here. All right. They've come over the radio to Norris saying, Oscar is a 10-second penalty. We need you to get close to Leclerc. So Piastri can not lose any positions with a 10-place grid with a 10-second penalty. And Norris just comes over the radio saying, oh, what do you think I'm trying to do here, mate? Like, oh, do you think I'm trying to slow down compared to Leclerc? Yeah. Oh, we've got Pierre Gasly attacking George Russell attacking Pierre Gasly. We have got 8 laps left to go here, and this is going to get very, very interesting. For the final spot on the podium, we're going to have George Russell versus Esteban Ocon. Oh, not George Russell versus Esteban Ocon. George Russell versus Pierre Gasly. Right. Why isn't George able to overtake this Gasly guy? George isn't able to do that because I just think that Alpine may have a little bit less horsepower down the straights, but they just have very good downforce. I think they may have put on the highest downforce package out of everyone, and they have supreme grip everywhere. And because of that, George Russell just can't get close to them. Verstappen, another fastest lap of the race there. Back to setting fastest laps. Nicely done. And yeah. Want out to midfield teams getting podiums. Yeah, it'd be great to see the midfield teams doing podiums here. It's brilliant. We're getting very, very close to 10,000 likes also, folks. We have got 7 laps left of this race. If you guys haven't hit the like button, please be sure to do so. It hugely helps out the channel, and would love to break the 10,000 like record on my live streams. We're getting pretty close to our subscriber target as well, 117,000 subscribers. That would be very, very nice if you guys could hit that as well. We've got Lewis Hamilton currently under pressure, currently trying to attack Liam Lawson here, and what was I going to say? Oh yeah, George Russell. This is the main one that we're focusing on. George Russell behind Pierre Gasly. 1 second is the gap. Russell isn't able to get close. I mean, the dirty air does have quite a big effect, especially in wet conditions when you need all of the downforce that you can get. It's very, very critical to not have the dirty air effects. And as they go through turn number 12 now, Gasly gets a pretty nice exit. Russell also a decent enough exit, and it's going to be tough for him to get close without any DRS. I mean, the circuit is drying up. The FIA could maybe enable DRS. It would be slightly risky, so I think they're probably just going to play it safe because there is quite a bit of spray here and there. But if they do want to make the final couple of laps of the race very exciting, then enable that DRS, and we could have a very, very exciting final couple of laps. Okay. Max Verstappen, he hasn't set a fastest lap on this lap as well. I think they've come over the radio saying, "Oh, Max, please slow down. Give some fastest laps to the other guys," because I mean, to be fair, he's a second quicker than Ocon. And someone asked a couple of laps ago, "Oh, will Max Verstappen pull out a 20-second gap by the end of the race?" And we are on lap number we have 6 laps remaining, and Ocon's on a 14.5-second gap. So maybe on the final lap, Verstappen manages to pull out a 20-second gap. All right, we're getting very close to 10,000 likes. Very nice. And oh wow, here we go, another fastest lap of the race from Max Verstappen. I mean, I should probably focus on something else, but there really isn't that much else going on. Hamilton gets close to Lawson every single time, but Lawson just puts his car in the right place, and Hamilton can do nothing about it. Russell as well, he's getting close to Gasly, but it's been the same story for about the past 7 laps now. All right. Yeah. 5 laps remain of this race. It's been a fantastic Grand Prix. And hope you guys have enjoyed the coverage. It's been brilliant. Do you think Max will lap Zhou? Oh, probably not. No. There's only 5 laps left. There's a fairly decent gap there. I mean, look at the lap times. Actually, maybe 5 laps. He's got to catch up 10 seconds to Zhou. It's possible, but I think Verstappen will just back off at that point. I don't think he wants to have any sort of flashbacks to 2018 where he gets taken out by a back mark or anything like that, and he'll just slow down and come across the line. Yeah. All right, Lewis Hamilton really is pushing now to try and get to Lawson. He's driving over the white lines as well, taking some risks here and there, because Lawson's doing a very good job defending, and Lawson also having to cool down his intermediate tyres. We're getting to the point now where the circuit is really starting to dry up, and the driver's now taking some odd lines to keep those intermediate tyres within the optimal temperature window. Another fastest lap of the race for Max Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton here is struggling to overtake Lawson. Meanwhile, his teammate is up in 4th place. Yeah. All right, lap number 66 of 69, and George Russell, purple in the final sector, looking to get close to Pierre Gasly. He gets a very, very nice exit at a turn number 3, but that gap does not get any closer than 1 second. Gasly has done a fantastic job, and sensational drive from Pierre Gasly. And Lawson once again goes defensive, and now he's put Hamilton under threat of being overtaken by Perez. Hamilton, who was trying to overtake Lawson for so long, now is under threat from Perez. Perez goes right to the inside line. He backs out of it early because there was no space left on the inside. Perez wanted to go to the inside, but Hamilton covered it off very, very nicely. And yeah, good job there from Lewis Hamilton. All right, Alonso's come over the radio saying, "I'll finish the race for the mechanics. They did a very good job today, but my back is hurting, man. This bouncing is not normal." We've had a lot of drivers complain about this. Hamilton was complaining, Alonso was complaining, and not just the 2 oldest drivers on the grid. The resurfacing done at this circuit was, I don't know, there's some sort of problem, something happened, but the resurfacing was not smooth whatsoever, and there's been so much bumpiness over the course of the circuit. Even though drivers are running wet setups and the ride heights are much higher, there's still loads of issues with the bumpiness. I think Verstappen was complaining about it at turn number 12. There's a bump there, and if you hit the bump while you go on the brakes, you lose grip and you go straight ahead. So, Alonso's doing a good job here, just getting through a bit of the pain, but yeah, they're going to have to... I don't know what they're going to do, really. I'm sure over time, the bumps will go away as more and more races get completed, but they're going to have to do an investigation and figure out why there are so many bumps in the first place. 3 laps remain of this race, and we've got Verstappen, the purple first sector, purple second sector, and is it a purple third sector? Yes, it is, and it's another fastest lap of the race. You just can't write this stuff, man. How has he done this? He was started the race in 17th position. He's now up into first place. The current drive of the day split is 40% for Max Verstappen, 11% for Esteban Ocon, 6% for Colapinto. I think there should be a little bit more for Pierre Gasly, really, considering that Pierre Gasly started in 16th. He's done a brilliant job. Brilliant drive, and he's holding off George Russell as well. He's kept Russell 1 second behind, 1.1 seconds behind for so many laps. I think Pierre Gasly deserves a little bit more love. We have just hit our like target. That is fantastic. Let me just make that a little bit smaller so everything fits. Wow, brilliant. Thank you everyone for hitting the like button. Very much is appreciated. We're getting pretty close to our subscriber target as well. 2 laps left of this race. And Hamilton gets ahead of Sergio Perez. Perez looks to the inside trying to get an overtake done. And Hamilton manages to just stay ahead, and Hamilton, who was previously trying to overtake Lawson, has now forgot about that and is now under pressure from Sergio Perez. This has really been a race to forget for Lewis Hamilton. It's not been a particularly good weekend for him, apart from the driving Ayrton Senna's car. Things haven't been going that well for Lewis Hamilton as of late, and we'll see if he can bounce back from this form before the season finishes, or maybe if he can bounce back once he heads to Ferrari. Yeah, all right, here we are on the final lap of the race, folks. Max Verstappen makes his way down towards turn number 4, and what a sensational race this has been. So much action, so much drama. The drama before the race even started, we had Lance Stroll go off the circuit. The race got delayed by 10 minutes. We had a double formation lap, a triple formation lap, something that we had never seen before. And then we had chaos left, right and centre. We had a red flag. We had safety cars, virtual safety cars, Nico Hülkenberg getting black flagged. So much action from start to finish. This has been an incredible Grand Prix. And all eyes now are on Max Verstappen, the driver that has set the most fastest laps of this Grand Prix. He comes out of turn number 12, gets a brilliant exit, as he has every single time for the previous 69 laps of this race. When Max Verstappen lined up on the grid position today in 17th place, he thought one thing: I'm going to hit the accelerator pedal until I see the checkered flag. Oh God, he sees the checkered flag. He's the winner of the Brazilian Grand Prix. What a drive by Max Verstappen. He is 20 seconds ahead of Esteban Ocon after starting in 17th position. That is simply sensational. Ocon comes across the line in 2nd place and Pierre Gasly in 3rd. What a drive it has been. Alpine jump up into 6th place in the constructors. They were in 9th, up into 6th in one single race. A double podium for Alpine after all of the pain that they've had this season. It is brilliant for them. Russell across the line 4th, Leclerc 5th, Norris with a bit of a bad race, and having 2 mistakes on 2 safety car restarts. That puts him out of contention for the championship unless Verstappen gets 2 DNFs. And Piastri in 7th, but he gets a 10-second penalty. He's down into 8th, and Tsunoda is in 7th. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. I do have to go very, very quickly now, but I'm going to redirect you guys to the Las Vegas Grand Prix. If you guys could hit the reminder button, the like button on the Las Vegas Grand Prix, that hugely helps out the channel. This has been a record live stream. I hope the Las Vegas Grand Prix is also a record live stream. So if you guys do want to help out with that, just press the like button on the Las Vegas Grand Prix stream. Once I end the stream now, I'll take you over to that. But it's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. Have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening or night, depending on where you are in the world. And yeah, thank you for all of the lovely messages in the chat, all of the donations. It's simply lovely drive from Max Verstappen, and I will see you in 2 weeks' time for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. Yeah, just the final thing, the like button, the reminder button, the subscribe button. Wow, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. And yeah, see you in 2 weeks.